All right, first and foremost, to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. We're getting ready to start this class off. We got a special guest brother in the building tonight, and he's gonna, come and do some very important building on, finances, credit, and things like that. Because these are very important things that we need, and for various reasons, we have been deprived of a lot of knowledge and information that could empower us or just help us better the financial situations that we're in as a people. So it's very important and key information that we need to attempt to internalize and move forward with. Because it could definitely curb some of the situations brothers and sisters are in, across the board. So without any further ado, I'm gonna bring up the brother Q Butter. I recently mentioned him too in the video. If you've seen the video we did on the whole time you saw my old situation, it's a solid brother. Came all the way out here from Brooklyn, New York. So we're gonna let this brother come up and build and give us some very valuable and important information. You got that? It's like we on. So don't even worry about it right now. We're gonna let this brother come up. You good? Make sure his camera's good here. Boom. Sit right there. I'll take the call real quick. Okay. Let him get on it, whatever he needs. Y'all just
Peace, beautiful family. How y'all feeling? Peace, shalom, peace. How y'all feeling? That's what I'm here. First and foremost, it's about empowerment of the people. I don't get into, sometimes I think some of us get caught up into the semantics too much. All I see is beautiful black people. Indigenous people, Aboriginal, Africans, whatever we want to call it. I'm all for us. The power's here, the power's within us. And right now, what's been systematically, taken from our community beyond amongst the other forms of information is definitely financial literacy. And in our community, we're being stifled in it. Some of our businesses, you might have the idea to do your business, but just because he doesn't know enough about finances, he may not be secure in his ability to help you. And so the faster and the more effectively we find ways to increase our understanding of finances, the same way, Bob, I'm sure plenty of you feel up the same way about your religious books, the context of your books. The faster you can get more people to understand it, the faster you'll be able to heal certain people. Right. And it's the same way with financial understanding. The faster we can get this information to people, the faster we're able to help our elders out who have some of these properties that they're sitting on and they're scared to let go because they may not understand what's going on with it. And some of us have great business endeavors. Some of you might have a trucking company and you need just as much higher credit score. You can get 2-3 trucks and change the lives for brothers in your own nation for the next 2-3 generations. And so it's having this information that's there first. So I'm not gonna take too much time. So real quick, credit. So there's 3 typical credit reporting agencies. There is Equifax, is located on the East Coast, TransUnion, Midwest, Experian, West Coast. They all have a score that they have, and that score was originally called the FICO score. And that score is a computation of the types of credit you have. And the credit is basically someone giving you either a goods or service and with the understanding that you're going to pay it back in a future dated time. Now, the credit reports and the credit reporting agencies compile accounts that have this type of data, but they only compile it from people that pay them to have it. So if you don't have an account with Equifax, they're not going to post up the information. So this is why sometimes we don't see a lot of things posted on our credit that we want to see. So you may be paying for something and you might have had a Comcast account. Comcast may only pay Equifax. So they might have sold it to you and you only have an account with TransUnion, and you'll look at your credit report like, why do I have multiple things on here? Lender, business has to have an account with the credit reporting agency to actually post on your account. They call it subscriptions or whatever. Going forward, there's about 4 or 5 types of credit that they typically use, but we have revolving accounts, installment loans, mortgage loans, car loans, and you have business credit, store credit, revolving credit. I'm trying to freestyle as fast as possible. Yes, charge cards, store credit, they're kind of like the same thing, but they're not. Some charge cards, you have 30 days to pay it off. Some store cards are like that. Some store cards are like credit cards. I believe Walmart, you can use a credit card in other stores. I'm not sure if you can do that with Macy's, but some stores, they have credit cards, the store cards that work like credit cards. So your credit report compiles all of these different accounts.
I believe Macy's.
I think Macy's is like that. Yeah, some of them, they're really big unions. Equifax is actually one of those. Equifax started as a store, and they would compile the data from everybody who came to their store, and they would give that information to other corporations as a form of determining worthiness. And it became such a big business for them that they wound up just focusing on selling the information about people's worthiness, and other people picked it up. There are other places that monitor business, personal credit, but those are the three main ones. For business, it's done in Bradstreet and Equifax. I'll go into that. I'm trying to go as fast as possible. You know, you can hit a Gorilla, hit me up, and I'll do a one-on-one with you. How you use your credit, the length of time, the average amount of money that you have on your credit. So if it's over 30%, they don't tend to like that, but they respect it depending on how you handle it. You might have just bought a house and you had to max out your credit card. They understand that. If you paid off in a certain, and you're mathematically timing it, where you're like, you know what, I maxed out this one card, but I'm going to pay it off in this much time. Also, the combination of your cards is an overall picture. So if you have 5 cards with $1,000, you have $5,000 worth of credit availability. Out of that availability, you can use $1,500 of it. You see, so they compile it all together. So that may say one of your cards you can actually max out and a half of another one, and it won't affect your credit. Max out all of your cards, you know, and each bank knows how you're actually paying it off, because they monitor it. Once you have a relationship with the bank, they tend to not care so much about your credit. They care about how you deal with your credit with them. I've seen people with a 450 credit score. I ain't gonna say it online, but $25,000 in credit, and he had a 450 credit score. I've seen people with no credit but have a relationship with one specific bank because they always had money in their account for a while, and that end up letting the bank give them credit. You know, so again, remember, the relationship determines a lot, and it's just the same way he and I may have that credit with you, all of you, but I've always paid you back on time. Some people relate that and understand it. Some people look at it, you know, all these things go into your credit report. So some people determine how much credit they'll give you based on that. So that's also the amount of accounts you have. You may have 3 accounts, you may have 5 accounts. So the length of time you had your accounts, your availability on these accounts, how well you pay. It's like an anal friend, somebody who's really annoying. They pay attention to everything. Oh, nah, he's not that clean. You know, somebody that's just looking at every single thing you're doing. That's kind of the credit report. But once you know that that's what they're looking at, you can understand that. And then from there, you know how to gauge it so that way you can control what they're actually seeing. You can control the looking glass going on, and they're looking at you and judging you, and you don't know what's going on. Going forward from there, credit is for business. Online, a lot of people sell, and they came up with this whole concept of trade lines. A trade line is anything posted on your credit report. The concept of a trade line comes from businesses having established connections between each other. You sell tires, he gets rubber trees, you transport, you have a shipping company. All of you work together to make his tires get sold. Those are the lines between your trade that created real credit. And this is one of the issues that's facing our communities, is the fact that we're not being taught vocational trades anymore. Entrepreneurial skills. This stifles our community's ability to have small businesses, mechanical businesses, welding businesses, or scuba dive, all these different things that we were used to doing. We lost that, you know, and I blame the school system. I blame us participating in the school system. School system doing what it's supposed to do, make us fair. Decision to join it and actually work with the school system and take on that system broke us down, but we're out of that now. That's why we're in this place here. That's why I'm here. That's why we're doing this. So going forward, viability in our community is tied to our individual's education. Our individual education is tied to, of course, the nation. They revolve around each other. You're a plumber, locksmith, mechanic, all of these things grow our community. And so our trades and the lines between the stakeholders of each trade. Yes, you're a locksmith, but he makes the locks. You understand? So you need him to make the locks for you to actually go put them on doors. And this is where our community is being stifled. And so now the concept of trade lines just popped up when, I believe in the 70s, It was really in the 80s, but in the 70s, they created a Fair Act, Authorized User Act. They added that on there, where anyone can be added on your credit report or a specific line in your credit as an authorized user. They invented that. They came up with it for white women, wives, because wives weren't able to work. They were complaining that they didn't get to develop credit. And so the government, you know, white people, to me, they outsmarted the women. It was like, look, we're just going to say spouses. And so anybody who's a spouse can be put in your credit report. To the IRS, a spouse doesn't mean somebody you're married to. A spouse means somebody that you have very close relations to, you might have lived with, did business with. A spouse is a very loose term. And so with it being like that, and they're saying, oh, you got 5 credit cards? Oh, all right, cool. Let me monitor you. Let me handle those for you. I can sell those on the internet for $500 each. And you can put 5 people per credit card. So if you have one credit card with $1,000, $10,000 limit, you could put 5 people in it on it. I turn around and put it on the internet and say, look, I can fix your credit. I'm gonna add 3 lines of credit on your credit. Give me $1,500. Your credit's gonna jump up in 30 days. This is, you type in trade lines, you go online, you know tons of people, this is exactly what they're doing. I don't promote it because you see this close-knit network right here? That stifles y'all from growing. Because guaranteed somebody in here has one credit card at least with $1,000. Guaranteed. People in here right now. Guaranteed. Y'all are a family, so y'all can do that right now. And then 30 days later, one of those 5 people is going to have, or 4 of them going to have an increased credit score. Nobody in here does have to touch the cards. You can add him on your card. Never give him a card. All you have to do is call up Capital One, add him on it. Boom. 30 days later, his score is going to be boosted by whatever amount you add onto it. If you might need a help payment, look, give him the $25, $30, help him make sure the payment's low. Now that's going to give you another line on your credit. So when they look at your credit score, they're going to see his credit card. As long as he pays it off right, he's going to do it right. You can also do this with secure credit card. Y'all are family. Y'all may not have any. Let's say y'all don't have any. You can take 200, 200, 200, 200, put it on one secure credit card. Boom, add everybody in here on it in cycles. And this is what I'm about. This is why I don't promote us selling it to each other, because it doesn't work the way it's supposed to in small families. You know, and it has to work like that because that's the way it was designed for families like this to work, where y'all 3 right now can add each other on one credit card before the end of the night and increase each other's credit availability. Not saying that you have it, but to the computer, that's what you have available. And so to the computer, and when you're looking at him, you're saying, oh, let me see how much credit he has. And you're like, oh, you got 4 credit cards for $10,000 each or $2,000 each. Even though they may see it as an authorized user. So let me go into that. Again, I said earlier, this FICO 09, Vantage 2.0, Vantage 3.0. So these are different scoring models. Each one has a little different variable that they may change to give a different number. Just know that. And I'll go into further. The reason why that's important to know, because each bank has a different scoring model that they use. Using FICO is the most easiest one. Use FICO 09 and allegedly some secret one. What bank prerequisites there are and understanding trade lines, you'll say, you know what, you have 4 accounts with Citibank. Okay. So boom, now you add him onto your accounts for Citibank. You got Chase. He doesn't have any credit on his. So now in 30 days, he's going to his bank because you got to connect over there. You know, look, long as he has a 700 score and 15,000 availability, you know, you got a bank that'll guarantee to give him $100,000 line of credit. Now we're going back to his trucking company. You see what I mean? Everybody. Federal's good too. Navy Federal, the USAA, and PenFed. Those 3, if you're in the military in here, you can add each other onto it. It's guaranteed. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 20, 30, 40 people in here. It's guaranteed there's somebody in here that has it. It's just a simple conversation and put a $50 each, $100 each. You can make a secure credit card tonight. Together, boom. Whoever has the least amount of credit with 0, you clean him up first. Whoever has the worst credit, you can get in. You hit me up, or I'll show you. I'm gonna go into that real quick. How much more time I got? You just build. All right. I'll go into the credit. Getting stuff removed, and whoever has the worst, you clean him up. Whoever has nothing, you build them up. And a lot of us brothers, Black, Latino, both, and our Middle Eastern brothers. You see what I mean? All 3 alike take advantage of it in different ways, but us 3 are not counted in the mix.
What about for our kids?
Kids 17.
Okay.
Yep, 17 years old, start adding them. No, 17 years old, you can start adding them. They don't count us. If you just, I don't watch TV, but I was just watching TV. They do not market to that population I just said. Black men, Black Latino men, Arab men, they're not marketing to us. You know what I mean? Let's just be real. They're not marketing to it. They're not even trying to sell shoes, sandals, hats, nothing to us. And so they counted us out. They counted us out. That's a good thing. So that means that we don't have to spend the money with them. Us. And that's investing. You know, and the longest, and it's easier with like families like this because I know how knitted y'all are. Everybody in has everybody's phone number. Everybody knows everybody's name. Everybody, I just saw you asking about his son. I saw you with his son. I saw how y'all walked in. I watched all of that. I'm like, this is a family. You know what I mean? Nobody's seeing complexion. This is just, if you're here, this is family, get out my face. You know what I mean? And so that's the knit that takes it to the next level. And in business, I know y'all all heard people sell straw men's and all that type of stuff. There's a reality to business that's very powerful when manipulated and used in a certain way. And I'm not going to say manipulated. When used in the proper context, it's very powerful. You see what I mean? And so the more we use it, the further we can go. Your personal credit is not worth as half of your business credit. That's just what it is. Business credit has supersedes personal credit. I guarantee. I know there's about 3 to 4 businesses in here. So what is it that means? We need to make sure that everybody knows what a pay debt score is. A pay debt score is something that's called your payment index score. And that monitors how often you pay your invoices for your business. Right? And that's your Dun & Bradstreet score. Dun & Bradstreet is the business people who monitor business credit. I know I'm speeding. Typically, they monitor how long it takes you to pay your credit, your bill. So if I give you an invoice and it's called a net 30, net 15, net 7, net 90, you have a certain period of time to pay it off. You gave me 30 days, I have to pay it off in 7. If I pay it off in 7 days, I get a credit score for 85. 85 to 90 is actually the top you can get. 100 doesn't mean, that means you paid it off as soon as you got it. Right? Very simple thing. Having money in a bank account for a business flowing is like having gold. So $10,000 in a bank account means that you can get upward of $100,000 with bad credit in a heartbeat. $1,000 in this room. So again, $10,000 in a bank account is gold. Meaning that you can go to a bank and you can prove that you make $10,000 a month in income. You can open up the typical business. Swift Capital, Fora Bank, American Express. There's a lot of different banks that will do that. You know, compile your money. You're allowed to compile your money as a unit and say, yeah, that is easy with y'all. Other people, I'll be talking to a group, nobody knows each other. I'm like, yo, y'all work together. Like, what? Y'all a family already. Y'all, this side put together 10, this side put together 10, or put together 5, put it together. Boom, we're gonna have it in this account right here. Look, you're monitoring it. You just take it Friday, put it back on bum. You do that cycle for 3 months. You got 3 months worth of data showing you got $10,000 in the bank. He already has 2 trucks. Now we got $100,000 to get a third one and fix and buy 2 used ones, or we can get another space for the temple, or we can do promotion. It long as it makes money. Again, credit is for making money. It's not for under. I hope you're selling juices. You know what I mean? Like, is it what a sewing machine selling? It has to be for business. I can't drive it. I'm speaking to the choir, so I know y'all know that. I'm not even. That's why I ain't gonna worry about that. Y'all have unit. So 1, again, SBA, you can look up 5 ways to establish a favorable bank rating. Anything with finances and stuff like that should be sending you to the government's website or to an official website, college website, or to something that's for the state. Credit repair. Nobody's allowed to charge you up front for credit repair. It's against the law. Majority of the law for credit repair has to be written in 8th grade level. That's layman terms. So an 8th grader has to be able to understand credit repair. That's the federal law, right? So you do not need a lawyer to understand credit repair laws. It's against the law to write credit repair laws above the level of 8th grade comprehension. So you do not need a lawyer, and that's the government saying there's no way the community is going to survive if you need a lawyer to understand financial laws. So they rewrote all of the laws. California, New York, everybody's rewriting laws so that way an 8th grader, how old are you, Ken? What grade you in? 7. So by next year, he can understand the credit repair laws. How to defend himself, how to set up a bank account, why do you think I don't think they can speak. Can they still speed to talk when they do, like, you know, at the end of the commercials, and they speed off the contract?
Yeah, I ain't heard that in a while.
That's against the law now also. There's a lot of things that the government and people are forcing the government to do. Everybody heard about the child support cases they took off the credit? That was the people forcing the government to follow the law. Your credit report has to be substantiated, and the reports put on your credit report need your ID to prove that you are you. So everything in your credit report, and the law states that the credit reporting agencies have to keep a copy of your credit report all the time. Anything on your credit report has to be provided, and upon request, within 30 days. If it's a debt collector or a lender, they have to have it in 5 days. So if you say I owe you money, and I write you a letter saying that prove it, you have 5 days. If you're a credit reporting agency, you have 30 days. 30 days to respond. They don't respond in 30 days, you send a second letter complaining. They don't respond in 5 days, you send a second letter. Also in that letter, you're gonna let them know that you're suing them. Now, each state has their own laws. All right? Some states do not have laws that determine credit or debt collection laws or Fair Credit Reporting Act laws. However, most do. So if they don't, you have to use the federal law. In California, I believe they have their own. I know that the statute of limitation is in the time of the amount of time that is pursuable for suit on a debt, and that typically is 180 days after the date of the last payment. So whatever the date of your last payment is, doesn't matter when it started. Whenever the last time you paid, after that is when they're allowed to pursue, and up to 4 years after that, I believe in California. I think it's 4 years. Don't quote me. Just type in California debt collection statute of limitations. You type that in, you'll be able to find out exactly what it is for California, and also the types of contracts that's allowed. On your credit report, you'll find accounts that you actually have in good standings, accounts that you refute, accounts that you may not want on your report just because even though you paid it off, you don't want nobody to know that you went to the hospital. You might have lawsuits, public stuff, but public stuff in law is now being removed. And the reason why it's being removed, anything that's posted in your credit report, you have to have a contract stating that you gave the person permission to post in your credit report. And you also have to have prior knowledge to the creation of the contract that it will be posted in your credit report. So let me say that again. So if I never signed a contract with your jail, and even though I went to jail and I owe you money because you charged me for being in jail, you can't put that on my credit report. I never signed a contract stating that I knew that. What do you mean I owe you child support? Yes, I owe child support. I didn't sign a contract stating that I knew I was going to have child support. That's a birth certificate. That's not a contract. A contract has to have several things in it. A contract has terms. A birth certificate does not have terms in it. It has an agreement between two parties. A birth certificate does not have agreement between two parties. It also denotes damages or the way you can collect and the laws that apply for the state. Birth certificates don't have that. Neither do parking tickets. Neither do taxes. And so this is why when white people started suing, say, hold on, y'all, you can't put that on my credit report. Top of that. So again, if you don't have a contract and a copy of your ID, so that you are who you are and you agreed to being who you are in these terms, you're not allowed to be on my credit report. And that contract and your ID is supposed to be available upon request at any moment. Beyond that is the contract. All debt has to have some form of contract or proof that you understood the terms of that contract. So you have to have a written contract. And I believe in California, which I don't like, they don't just switch the difference between an implied, oral, and written contract, if I'm not mistaken. So you have to use federal. They don't, right? Yeah, I do not like California for that. There's a big difference. I understand why. So if you get a credit card and you use it, that's no different than signing a contract. Federally, there's a big difference. So this goes back into knowing the law. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse of it. That's an ancient African proverb. You can't walk into this country and say you don't know the laws of this country. Like that's y'all Israelites. I know that. Look, bro, you should have known where you at. What you mean you don't know the laws? Like, why are you here? You can't use that. That's not an excuse. You got 30 seconds and then you go find the laws out. That's been around. So in this country, you have to know there's federal laws and it's your state laws. Sometimes they work together, sometimes they work against each other. You have to know when to make which one work for you. So if you're in regular civil court and the civil court's laws in that state don't work in your favor, you might have to jump to your federal laws. All right? Federal laws may not always work for your case because federal laws is 7-year statute of limitation. Federal laws require you to have a copy of the contract, though. So you may have to jump to that one. And you have to use a federal code to say, I need a proof of my contract with the signature on both sides. If not, this debt is invalid, and it has to be taken off. I'm not saying I don't owe you money, but the only type of debt that could be on my credit report is valid debt. If it's not valid, you got to be removed. So if you can't prove the debt originality, and the only way you can prove the originality is with a contract, right? Giving you a little quick run through other ones. After that one, statute of limitations, proof of the contract. Peace, brothers, peace. And now, if it's bought by a debt collector, each state has debt collector laws. I believe in Texas, in California, you don't have to have a license to buy debt. I have to double check on that, but you can just type in California. You don't have to have a license, right? In California, you don't have to have a license. In New York, you do. Other states, you don't. So that means if I bought your debt here, it's technically legal, right? However, you also still have to give notice of that purchase. You still have to have proof of that contract, and that works every time. So it's a little tricky sometimes. In California, I remember having a couple issues with people with their credit in California because it's like you have to really go into the works. You know, I don't think you have to have a license about debt, but I think you have to be registered, or you have to have something here as a debt collection company, though, I believe. If you hit me up after, I'll look up all the law, but you can just type in California debt collection license and you'll find out all the different things, or whatever state you're in. You have to be incorporated, right? So that's the little trick there. If they're not incorporated in, yeah, you have to be, I think they have to be registered, because I'm not mistaken, but you can set me up or you look that up online. These are things that are easy to find. Again, it's your responsibility to look it up. Google's right there. California debt collection license, California debt collection laws, California statute of limitations, quick things. Beyond that on the credit report, again, it's tempo reading. I call it tempo reading. Debt collectors and creditors, they're into the likelihood of you paying off the debt. So if it's $1,000 debt and it's 5 years old, what's the likelihood of you paying it off? So they're going to try to get a percentage of it. Now, when they sell it, these people are just shooting in the dark. They buy 10,000 accounts, $250,000, $50,000, $250,000 accounts, and they may be worth who knows how much money. You may owe $1,000 and they bought it for $3. But that's a good thing to know. See how you made your face? That profitability on that is determined on how long it takes them to scare you into paying. No, no. So again, they bought your debt. This is for people that bought your debt. Old debt. So let's say if it's old and you bought it though for $2 and it's $500. First letter that was sent to you, he's at $3 already. Now, when you send him a letter back, the time it took him to open it, they scan them. So this is why they tell you have to do it in a certain way, because they scan the letters to cut that cost. So this is why they tell you on certain spots, they tell you to type the letter, and at the bottom, handwrite your accounts in, because the computer can't scan your handwriting. Or they tell you to use different types of code wording in the messenger. When they use this, when they give you 140 characters or 200 characters to write in. Same law. Or I have no business relationship with this company. Please provide me with a contract that stays different. Conversation's over. The only thing they can respond with is a contract. If you don't have a copy of this contract, please remove immediately, or I will sue you. It's very simple. They want to know the federal law, just send them a copy of federal law. But they know the federal law. And so, again, back to the point, it's a tempo fight. It's like Mayweather. We're talking about Mayweather. Mayweather's first 4 rounds, he's just figuring you out. Even if he knows he can beat you, he's just figuring out how he wants to beat you in the first round. I may just want to beat you with left hooks. I might want to beat you on the side of the ring. I want to beat you on the ropes. Like, he's just picking how he wants to beat you. That's the mindset I want y'all to have when it comes to any debts on your credit report. You already know he's just there for the profit. He spent $5 on your debt. Make him work for that. 3-letter responses, they're not going that far. They're paying him $25, $50 an hour. So you don't want him to have to respond. That's what they're saying. So you want to make him have to respond. Where's my contract? That means he's going to have to go like this. And he knows he doesn't have the contract. You just cost him $200, $300. They're not going to defend that. And it really just comes down to likelihood. If it's a $10,000 debt, they're going to go to fight. Let's say let's say we bought a debt for $5 for $10,000, and all we have to do is talk you into paying it. Once you make one payment, you validated the debt. That's all I got to get you to do is pay. You said the minimum. That's why I said don't pay. That's all I got to get you to do is pay $2, $1, 50 cents. All I got to get you to do is agree to a future dated payment. Look, you don't got it now. Just agree to make a payment to this debt in the future, sir. Making that payment, you just open up that whole contract for another 7 years federally.
Is there statute of limitations to any debt, anything like that?
Each state has their own statute of limitation. Federally, which I was going to go to next, there's no statute of limitation on federal debt anymore. So that means if you have a debt with the government, debt with IRS, debt with the student loans, no statute of limitation. No, depends on, that's an individual. The government specifically has to have a GOV or Fed at the front of it. You owe the military. The federal government is not California. You see what I mean? It has to say Fed. If it doesn't say Fed or government, that's not the state. The states are changing. I think there's only one state that actually took on, removed the statute of limitation to, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember it offhand, but most states have a statute of limitation clause. But again, they buy debt in bulk, and that's how they register it. They write off debt. They either can charge off the account or cancel the account. What does that mean? So you can get it. It's a 1099-C. So let's say I owe $5,000 to you. I can't pay you. Look, bro, just call it as a gift, and I'll pay the taxes on it. That's called a canceled debt. And you have to get a 1099-C for that. You just have to request it. Just know that when you do that, look up the taxes on it. So it's as if they gave you whatever money it was. I gave you, look, all right, you're not going to pay me back? Here, I'm going to send you a 1099-C. I'm going to charge it off and cancel it. And you pay the taxes on that $20,000. That's a canceled debt. So that's option. It's also an option for debt if you get to that last moment. Right? But again, making them fight is the first and foremost cause of action.
That's if they can prove that it is your debt.
Yeah, let's say that's your debt. Like, you know that you've been paying on it and you owe. You're just like, look, I got it. Can you? Is there any way we can cancel it and you write it off?
I owe like $16,000 in tools.
In tools?
Yeah.
Mastercraft?
Yeah.
How was the last time you paid them? Let me. So they're accusing you of owing, right?
What do you mean? Allegedly.
They allege that you owe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pay constantly. And it's just like I'm about to have a baby on the way, and that's what I make my money with. So it's like I have to pay.
Did you take your tools out of your name?
Huh?
Your name's the business. Is it in your name or your business?
It's my name.
So this is why they put stuff in business.
I have a business.
But if you were to put in your business, it's too late. But in the future, the beauty of business is the parachute. I ain't got it, B. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. You see what I mean? The personal self you're in, you can say that right now. You're just going to go on your credit. So you're going to need a good 18 months on the water because they're going to want $10,000. They're going to sell it. And how long has it been for? Remember, the last time you paid them is all they need to prove that, to substantiate that you owe them.
I was thinking about just having them stolen.
You got my number. You hit me up. I'm not gonna say that. That's something different. I'm just giving you whatever options, however you want to go about doing it. You know what I mean? Do what you gotta do. But there is, if you, definitely, allegedly. But there's also the Federal Trade Commission. So that's the big brother to the credit reporting agencies. So identity theft. To prove identity theft, it has to get wallet stolen. So if you want to prove that you had your identity stolen, to say that your wallet was stolen, and go get a police report and send that over to the Federal Trade Commission. Then with that, they have a hard, I think it's called like a hard proof or whatever they want to call it. It's like they have 15 days to provide every document ever created with your account to the FTC to prove that that was you. It's pretty hard to do that. Most people do not have every single document ever. The ID, the application, the contract, everything. You have to have it in 15 days or the FTC is going to delete it themselves from your account. They're going to force the credit reporters and agents to do that. So if you look online, a lot of people do that. They say FTC sweeps.
I got something similar to what you just said. I had a cell phone about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And we had the, whatever you call it, the operator or whoever called us, and we said, well, we need to buy out the contract, get it over with. The lady told us the price. So, okay, we sent the money in. About a month or two later, and oh, she made a mistake. This is what you owe.
Yeah, they got you. That's exactly I don't know. I have no knowledge of this debt, nor do I know who you are. Please cease and desist from calling me.
Well, yeah, because my wife was telling her no, because my wife recorded it. Bill, and they said yeah. So she told the whatever I don't remember the company. Your operator telling me this is what we owe to cancel our whole thing because we went to another company. What happened was our phones were kept getting cut. Called us at our house and we're on our cell phones at my house and you gotta ask me for my landline because we can't even communicate because the phone keeps getting cut. So we don't want your service. That's how we got out of it. Now they're talking about, okay, you pay this much, that's it, you're done. And they're coming out at us later saying, well, no, they made a mistake, you owe us this. And no, we got you on recording.
Is it on your credit report?
No, well, actually, it's another company bought it. This is already like the third one trying to come after us.
So again, have you asked any of them for a copy of your original contract?
No. We just got it in the mail. I just got it
I have no knowledge of this company. Have you ever signed a contract with the company that called you, that wrote you that letter? Nor do I have any knowledge of this company. Please provide me with a contract to remind me. I'm not saying I refuse it. I just don't remember, bro. I was in Cancun. I was doing a lot of studying. I just don't remember. I'm allowed to forget. Just send me a copy of the contract, front and both sides with the ink, original copy. As soon as you do that, then we can discuss.
Now, is this in writing or is there a number if they have a number?
You can either do it you can either do it directly to their website. I sample reading. I go based off of how many times they update your credit report, how many times it was sold, how big is the company, how many times they've been reported. All these different things determine which way I would go. Because you could punch somebody in the face and they go to sleep. You might have to jump on top of this person and choke them, beat them up. You know what I mean? Like they're just for $200. Real estate companies, landlords, they fight tooth and claw for their $200. No, I'm just saying, like, just to give you an idea, certain companies, phone companies, don't care. They sold it 3 times.
Yeah, it was like $690 or something. They said, oh, it was $2 something. I said, I'm not giving you nothing.
They paid $2 for that, $3 for that. A guarantee. The only thing you have to ask them for is, do you have a copy of the contract? If you don't have a copy of the contract, please cease from calling me and remove this from my credit report immediately. If you don't remove this from my credit report immediately, I'm going to be forced to sue you in civil court. Why? Because they're illegally posting on your credit. The only time you're allowed to post on somebody's credit is if you have a copy of what? And you also have a copy of your ID. If you don't have that, how do you know it was me? And where's the proof to show that I actually did this with you?
So is that why you'll have certain collection agencies calling you and handling you for things that aren't on your credit report?
Yep.
Okay.
Because and what's on your credit report is 2 different things. I can owe you a lot of money. You can owe the city a lot of money. Again, you have to have an account, a subscription account. And on average, I think it's $800 per 100 accounts. And that's with Equifax alone. So this thing about Comcast, Verizon, like what, 400,000 people, 500,000 people, maybe what we said earlier, 1 million people in California probably with Verizon. I think about it. They have to have a copy of every single contract. Where would they keep those at? Like, where are you keeping that at? Just for 2016. All the new clients, they don't know where to keep that. They still got to keep all the contracts from 2005. They don't. They go off the fact that, and then that's why California is really messed up, because they go off implied usage. So because you use it, they imply that you agree to it. Cool, whatever. The federal law states that from the time I stop, you got to have proof of my agreement. You don't have that, this debt is unsubstantiated. It doesn't mean it's not real, it's not valid. And unvalid debt cannot be allowed in your credit report. The only way to validate the debt is to have the copy of the original contract.
So there's one little question. My sister got scammed into doing something on my account, which caused fraud on my account with Bank of America, which is hindering me from getting into my own apartment, so on and so forth. How do I prove myself that I wasn't? You know, because I already called him and said my wallet was stolen, so on and so forth.
Did you call the FTC? You have to call the FTC.
What is the FTC?
The Federal Trade Commission. They are the ones that have to do it. They're gonna get this. You can just type in FTC identity theft. They have the whole package. Y'all can take my number, or it's on live. I ain't gonna do it on live, but I'll give you my number.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
So you dispute it, they take it off. How quick is the turnaround on your score for it to like, or like, you know, affect your score positive?
So your score updates every 7 days now. And it's 30-day cycles. They have the credit reporting agencies to clean up your credit report. If you go through the credit reporting agencies, if you go to them directly, they have 5 days. Then after you get the document proof that they did not respond to you or whatever reasonings, then you send it to the credit reporting agencies, and then they have 30 days. So you told me I owed you money. I asked you for proof of it. You never gave me proof. I send that proof that I mailed you a letter asking for proof to the credit reporting agencies as proof that you never responded. Please delete this immediately. Then they send that in and say, look, I have to delete this. The credit reporting agencies, they're not our friends. They get paid, think about it, $800 about per 100 people. So imagine how much money they're making per state off of just Verizon. Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, just them alone. Don't even worry about Boost Mobile, the little hood spots. Look at the ones that they use for white folks. You know what I mean? Macy's. Like, come on, Macy's, Walmart. Like, these people got millions of people in their stores. Home Depot.
Should you send it certified mail?
Yes.
Paper trail?
Yes, you have to send it certified with certified return receipt so that they have proof that they have received it. And it has to be stamped with the location at the whatever, with the certified return receipt. I think it's green, right? Yeah. The green envelope. You send that in there. If you're gonna type it in, you can mail it in. Email it in. You can use the online site. You can phone call them, long as you have proof. I like to call them now too, because I like to make them trip up on the phone. And I like telling them that I'm recording them, because they fumble and they start to talk different when you tell them that. They're like, yeah, I'm recording. Well, listen, well, miss, I'm recording you too. Like, sir, you can't record me. I'm like, all right, well, you can't hang up. They can't hang up. They hang up. That's your proof. Like, look, I told her I was recording. She hung up on me. They can't. It's so funny. They live like, sir, you can't record me. I'm not all right, whatever. So go back to my credit report, lady. And they just go ahead and continue. There's nothing they can do. You see what I mean? So always have your proof. If you send it via the online, videotape yourself doing it. The digital proof is flawless. Digital proof has a meta tag stamp into it. So if you record with your iPhone Galaxy, there's meta tag data to it. There's no lying about that. You know what I mean? You take a screenshot on your laptop, there's no lying about that. You go to court, look, Your Honor, that's the day I submitted it. See? Look right there. That's what I wrote in. They never responded. I need this thing. And damages on your credit report go up to $5,000. So that apartment you're talking about, when you send the FTC and you let them know that if you have 30 days to remove this, because you don't have to threaten the FTC, that the FTC is going to work with you to get you cleaned all the way back up. And then once you get cleaned back up, then you know you're going to have to deal with the part, because you're in identity theft. You're going to have a bunch of red flags on you anytime you apply for something. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions, but you'll be cleaned back up. And then his brother here with his 5 credit cards,
So you said
Add you on.
don't like try to rush them into it. Don't be like, oh, it has to be done in 30 days.
No, the FTC doesn't have a time frame on it. It's a little different because they're not the credit reporting agencies. They're the regulatory agency for the credit reporting agencies. And so once they get your thing, they're going to send it to them immediately. They're going to tell the credit reporting agencies they have 15 days to provide the proof. So anybody who has an account with you have to be able to provide any proof to validate the debt within 15 days. Everything. So they need the ID, contract, application, all last date of payments, debit card, whatever, anything associated with your account to prove it was you, they need that. That's the case. I don't know exactly what you did on your credit report.
You know how somebody call you and be like, oh, if I put it and I take it back out, someone stole it. They got my sister on that.
So you
credit card information and gave it to this dude.
A bank card.
No, it was a bank card, Bank of America.
So that's you're in a bank you're in a bank system, the check system. That's not your credit report though. So your credit report don't reflect that. Nah, so you know where the credit report and the bank system two different things. Yeah, the check system that and you gave me up. I got letters for that, and I can help you walk through that one. As a check system. Yeah, that's not an issue. And then a lot of the credit report, the credit unions, again back to business. You open up your own business tomorrow. What day is it? Well, Monday. Open up an LLC, S corp, and you can be using that as your form of proof of income. You can use your business as proof of income. So a lot of the banking issues you have is go open up a business, and that's your bank account. You know what I mean? It's another step, but he might need a corporation. You know what I mean? It's not that.
It's just really it's not that hard.
Nah,
I did it earlier. So
it's simple.
You did as well, right?
Yeah, it's simple.
Like you said earlier, it's 3-4 businesses in here. He didn't know that, but he knew it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it's impossible not to be.
Get the business license, or can it just be the fictitious business?
That varies per city, right? Because I know in some places you can operate a business without a business license. You see what I'm saying?
But to get a bank account, you got to have your articles of incorporation.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to have your EIN and articles of incorporation and your filing receipt.
Like you walk in, you sit down with the banker, they'll walk you
Mm-hmm. But you have your articles of incorporation.
Yeah.
You filed it with the state. You have your filing receipt.
You have the fictitious business name?
No. You have
I don't have a business license. I have this.
Nah, this is different. Those is different.
Yeah, the
fictitious. What is that? The fictitious
DBA.
You run it in again. You run it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Whatever, so yeah, but to do it on the next level, you just got to file with the state.
Yeah, it's like $125, $150, and that way you have your corporate stuff.
It's City Hall, right? It's a business license, right?
It's a articles of incorporation. The business license, I see what you're saying there. So a business license, professional license, but it's just that it's to the business. Businesses are not allowed to be licensed. Certain types of licenses are only to the individual. Like a business can't have a driver's license. You know what I'm saying? A business can't have a food handling license. So if you have a restaurant, you still have to have your cook have a food handling license. A business can't have a gun license. A business has to have someone in the business who has a gun license. A lot of these were 9/11 prohibitions that were created because back then, if I'm not mistaken, the license for the people to fly on the plane was given to the company. Wasn't that how the storyline that they tried to give, that the license for the people when it
individual people that you can track individual.
But at 9/11, I think they gave, when they was going for the class, remember the people that was the pilots when they was in the flight plant, there wasn't a underneath for corporation. That scenario changed how they gave licenses to corporations. Able to attach it more to the corporate self and separate the personal self. Now it's individual licenses that are attached to the business, and you have to apply to do certain types of business that are attached with the individuals in your business. Huh? It's the accountability. Before it was just like, all right, my business has this. It's like, no. Your business is cool. You got a license. No, this thing. But there are businesses that have to have regulatory licenses. So if you're doing transportation and waste management, you have to have vehicles. Would be first you have a business that certifies for that prerequisite information, which would allow you to be licensed in that field. But you still would need a CDL driver. So they need that waste management license and all the indefinite endorsements. You just couldn't take anybody off the street and do that. Uber, and this is why a lot of people don't like Uber, because Uber tried to play the other way around. CDL, and I think in Uber did a mean job with that, because in California, I believe you're in New York, you have to have a license to drive as a cab driver, and your car has to be licensed. In California, it's just a car, I believe. Is real different than most, because Uber's like, look, the car I gave you is already licensed. Anybody and their mother could become an Uber driver. So in like certain states, they don't play with Uber. They don't like Uber because they're like, they took advantage and they just.
In Nevada, Ubers can't even operate in Nevada.
In Kentucky, they can't operate. Yep. Dallas, a couple places, because they're like, what you mean you bought 50 cars and they're already licensed? No, I just locked him up. What do you mean he's a CDL driver? Like, no. And so, and what some businesses, you find a loophole. You know what the dopest loophole I just heard about? Wedding minister. I shouldn't even say it online. I don't even want to tell anybody about it. Wedding minister. I don't know how much it is out here. It's $15 to become a wedding minister in New York. And you're actually a minister. Like, hey, a minister, like you're a minister, and the minimum paid to do a wedding is about what, $250?
You just have to pay the
$15.
Oh, you had a license for that?
Yo, bro, yo, bro, that's crazy. That was one of the dopest hustles. That's like, think about it. Like, so there's a lot of different things you can get into that turn around quickly. And as long as this group keeps pushing together, everybody, one wedding minister, one with deli, you might own a truck driving, you might have a music studio, whatever it is. But as long as we push it together and forward and keep the motion forward, on focused on going forward, we can be extremely profitable in our future and do a lot more for ourselves and our families. And that's what it's all about. Y'all can take my info, Q Butter. The website is zyx.com/Project Flip. And you can go on there, just sign up for free. I got tons of stuff on there for business and personal credit. I know I ran through it kind of quick. I was just trying to give out much. Yo, good looks, bro.
No problem.
Appreciate this. This made my day coming out here.
How do you spell the website?
XYAYX. We invented that word. IX. And /Project Flip. And that stands for Financial Literacy Improvement Program. So we're going around the world, country, trying to flip the face of our community. So that way we're a lot more profitable, a lot stronger. And you see, we're connected the dots. Next time y'all come to New York, y'all come by my spot. Y'all be more than welcome. I got a couch, and then you just find a couch and put your feet up. Don't worry about it. Nothing. So again, it's at xyayx.com. My email is quebutter@gmail. And I'll give you my number personally. Any other questions? Cool. Good looks. I really appreciate that time, man. Made my time.
I'm about to clean up.
Give me Ecclesiastes 10, 19.
You can have it.
What's up? No? Oh, we still had one for you. What do you say? With the what?
Yeah,
give me Ecclesiastes 10 and 19.
Holding the mug in your hand.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not too close. You know you got it.
10 and 19.
10 and 19,
Come. Chapter 10, verse 19. A feast is made for laughter.
Read on.
And wine maketh merry. Answereth all things.
See, so it's very important to be financially literate and deal with your paper in the proper way. Because like I say, it answereth all things. You see what I'm saying? We ain't had to explain. People just think that all these types of just are free. This room everything we do costs money. You see what I'm saying? So it wouldn't make sense to do things to get more money so we can do more things. You see what I'm saying? To make it easy. Right. So you got a lot of people that complain. Nigga asks for a donation or whatever. People get all up in arms. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, none of this is free. You know what I mean? We got to come out of pocket for everything. No, but a lot of times, our people, especially from dealing with church and feeling like they've been swindled and robbed all their damn life, you know, giving they 10% every week. People be feeling reserved about giving money sometimes. So sometimes, you know, we force in a position where we got to do what we need to do to create it for ourselves so we can keep feeding people and getting the message out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to know these things, like the brother was going into a lot of stuff dealing with the putting the corporation together and start operating for the business. Like I said, a few brothers in here, I know I did it, Deacon did it, this brother is trying to get in the process of doing it as well. So that's good, because it gives you a whole nother option, because that ain't you, number one. You see what I'm saying? That's something else that's separate from you. So let's say everything goes wrong with your business. That ain't you. We can close that thing down. Open a new one up. You see what I'm saying? So when you start doing business on that level, you see what I'm saying? It's, you know, it'll open up a lot of things for you. You see what I'm saying? So it's powerful, and we got to understand. Even like the situation that happened with when they locked us up, you know, falsely last month. You see what I'm saying? There wasn't money there. We not getting out of jail. You see what I'm saying? We got to sit up in jail and deal with nonsense. You see what I'm saying? When we got families to get back to. That brother had 2 kids at the crib. You see what I'm saying? I had 1 and a wife that was expecting. You see what I'm saying? I'm not finna sit in jail and my baby's finna come out. But if I didn't have the money to do it, which we didn't have all of it, but we was able to call to the community and they was able to help us. You see what I'm saying? Money answered the problem in that instance. You see what I'm saying? So we know the love of money is the root of all evil. Right. If you just, because once you start worshiping money, you'll do anything for it. It's not about doing anything for money, but it's about understanding and recognizing the importance of needing it can do for us, because we need it. You see what I'm saying? Like this brother said, somebody came up to me earlier and said, every time I see you in a different car, like I own all these cars, I got to rent these cars. You see what I'm saying? Brothers having car issues. We got to make our place, so we got to go rent a car. Free. Renting a car is not cheap. Renting a car requires a damn credit card. You see what I'm saying? Like the brother was going into, unless you want to pay some stupid type of deposit. So all of these things are important to understand, and we need to, because nobody sat us down and told us any of this. You see what I'm saying? White kid getting a Visa Buck card at 15 years old, and his credit's, you know what I mean? They teaching him how to build his credit off the top. Man, when I was in 5th grade, I was in 6th grade, and I was 7th grade. I went to white school all 3 of them years. And the type of stuff that their parents was teaching them dealing with money, it was out of my mind. They're teaching their kids, all right, listen, go in your wallet and tip the waiter. You see what I'm saying? At 11 years old. Why would I have to tip somebody at 11 years old? You see what I'm saying? But they were teaching them, you know, financial habits and things like that. Right. I'm like, nigga, I'm not finna tip nobody, man. You know, what do you mean? I'm 11, bro. But see, just little stuff like that, it showed, you know what I mean? Because number one, they created the system. You see what I'm saying? Right. So as long as we living under their system, you have to play by the rules of their system. You see what I'm saying? In order to do what we need to do, in order to get our point across and to push our agenda. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's all.
Meanwhile, you got the Black and Latino households, especially because one of the curses, your parents got to put stuff in your name.
Yeah. You got everything. Listen, everything in this damn house is my name. You see what I'm saying? You're in elementary school. Everything is your name. Go ahead.
That's why I asked the brother. I said, "Hey, what about your kids? If you can add somebody on your credit line, shoot, I'm building mine up. Put my sons on." But you know, in the Black household, like the brother said, you usually tearing your kids' credit down rather than building it up. So he turns around, kid turn 18, he's got a 1,000 credit score. I'm gonna put you on and just build yours up while you're in college, while I'm paying for everything. By the time you get out, you ready to go start up, you know, get $100,000 loan for a business.
Oh, you ready to get a small loan of $1 million?
A small loan of $1 million. That's right.
I got the
go ahead.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 12. For wisdom is a defense.
Wisdom is a defense, right? So these are all, we got to work on things that are going to help defend us. So I say wisdom is a defense, read on.
And money is a defense.
And money is a defense. Being wise and having money are 2 things that are going to help you defend yourself in life, especially when the whole damn world is against you. Read on.
But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it.
You see that? But it all starts with wisdom. Without having the wisdom on how to do this, you can have as much money as you want and you can't blow it. But when you have the wisdom going forth, now it's like, all right, I'm going to get my credit right. I'm going to do A, B, and C so I can obtain these loans. Now it all works more cohesively when you start with having the wisdom on how you're going to do things and operate. You see what I'm saying? That's what it all starts with. So that's why it's powerful to understand this information, because now you have obtained the knowledge and the wisdom that you need to go out and make these things happen so you can have the money there. And then when you have the money, you don't just blow the money. Because oftentimes, you know, it's funny, you listen, a lot of our people listen to this music and it's all about bragging about how quickly you can lose money. A check. I'm running through a check. You see what I'm saying? Well, you running through a check, then what? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll F it up. Yeah, I'm just, you know, it's gone. I don't know what happened to it. Like my wife's best friend, she, man, the first half of this year, she was having money. She was having stupid money. And she would hit my wife up and say, man, let's run through a check. They would go to the mall, just buy all kind of clothes, go to expensive steak dinners, all kind of stuff for just no reason. Go to the zoo, just every day, just doing stuff because she had the money then. You know what she's doing if she don't have the money? She looked at my wife and told her, why didn't your husband offer to pay the rent? I got to pay the rent at your house because you didn't spend up all your money, which if you had your brain right, you would have had that money set and you would have turned that money into something. What sense would that make? You got to be smart, you know, but it ain't entirely her fault. Why? Because ain't nobody, she's young and ain't nobody teaching nothing. You see what I'm saying? We ain't been in the position where people have taught us anything, right? But now we're trying, now with brothers like this brother offering his services, now we're starting to obtain this knowledge. You know what I mean? So it's of the utmost importance. You see what I'm saying? I mean, or you cannot think it's important. You see what I'm saying? And then wonder why you're going through certain struggles. And of course, this doesn't mean you're going to get a ticket out of struggle. I mean, don't believe that. But these maneuvers can assist you in easing your position. You see what I'm saying? Easing what's going on and better empowering your family. You see what I'm saying? These are the type of knowledge that we have to obtain because people got to understand. Number one, of course, the scriptures, but we study more than that. We study history, don't we? We study science. We study everything. We're not limited, you know what I'm saying, to the field of study that we are involved in. Why are we not limited to the field of study we're involved in? Because we have to get all this knowledge. Matter of fact, give me Daniel 1, 3-4, and give me that what is that? Be not ignorant of any matter. That's Daniel 1. Go down. 3, hold on. 4. Read 4.
Gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 1, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Children in whom was no blemish.
No blemish, go ahead.
But well favored.
Uh-huh. And skillful, read on.
In all wisdom.
In all wisdom. This is ancient Israelites. Skillful in all they weren't limited to one field of wisdom. Skillful in all wisdom, read on.
And cunning in knowledge.
And cunning in knowledge. So not only skillful, they were cunning. Read on.
And understanding science.
Uh-huh.
And such in them to stand in the king's palace.
You see that? So this is talking about the Babylonian captivity. The Israelites went into slavery under the Babylonian, straight in slavery. But there was a group of them that were so impressive that the king said, all of them niggas need to live in the palace with me. They're so smart. I need to just soak up their game and look to them, even though they're my slaves. Look to them for knowledge and wisdom, understanding, and advice on things. Right? That's where you get the book of Daniel and the whole story of Daniel from that. And really, when you go into the Apocrypha, into the book of Susanna, that's really like the precursor to Daniel. How they showed his great wisdom is because there was a situation that he got a woman out of getting killed, rescued a woman from getting killed when niggas was lying on her. You see what I'm saying? And from that, as a young man, wisdom, he rose up in the king's house to where the king of Babylon wanted him up under his wing and looked at him as an advisor. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because he was skillful and cunning in all things. So we can't just limit ourselves in the type of knowledge that we have. You see what I'm saying? This is one thing and this is the foundation, but we also have to deal with other forms of things because life, you know, requires that. You see what I'm saying? And when we go into the scriptures, the men in there weren't just only knew the scriptures. You see what I'm saying? He was writing all these letters to all these churches you see in the New Testament, but he also had an occupation. You see what I'm saying? And he also had to be skillful in that occupation in order to make a living off of it. They said he built tents, right? If you weren't a skilled tent builder, you wouldn't make no money from it. Niggas wouldn't buy your tents. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be able to obtain these skills and be able to go through it and, you know, things of that nature. Get trades like the brother's going to do through vocations. Have our people doing that. Teaching your people how to be mechanics and plumbers and all those various things in high school. Go to college to do that. They got rid of all of that, right? So now we got to go out of our way to try to obtain these things, right? Like this brother, Quran. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. The restoration, that's the part because that's the only part I knew about was the restoration aspect, right? So your father started his own business, correct? Right. So in order, like for you, did he have you go through the apprenticeship program and things of that nature? You said, yeah, it does. He had you, listen, you coming with me and you gonna learn this on the job. You see what I'm saying? Which is tremendous. And guess what? In the 60s and the 70s, plenty of black businesses did that. 2017, we don't see it. Like I was explaining, you had a go ahead, King.
You know what? We do a lot of marketing ourselves, especially every dinner, every time we come across a black business, I lose out. You know what I mean? It's like I lose out here. You know what I'm saying? Like they're in their own world, we saw we our own world.
The network hasn't connected, and that's unfortunate. Which is why y'all went when we was in New York. Y'all went to the West Indian Carnival out here, right? Which is something new to San Diego, but because all the West Indian people that's now coming to San Diego made it a point to take all of their businesses and build and create a network. And this is sometimes what we point out, such as brothers that's from the islands versus brothers that's from the States. The type of mental situation that they have brothers in the States is a little bit different, and it's definitely more off-putting. When a brother's coming from the Caribbean, like even this brother will tell you, I was walking around when I was at JFK and I had this jacket on and they could see the Haitian flag. The Haitian brothers that was working there was like, yo, we'll take care of you. You see what I'm saying? Just automatic. But amongst the tribe of Judah or the African-American brothers, it's not always that same type of loyalty due to the fact that the white man is planted so many divisive ideals, which affects all of us, don't get it twisted. But growing up amongst white people more so than brothers on the islands, it's a little bit of a different thing. You see what I'm saying? Which is why you like, damn, we are black businesses, but there's no network of them. But here all the brothers come up from the Caribbean and build an instant, you see what I'm saying, network. That's the stuff that's got to stop, and that's the stuff brothers got to endeavor. Like the scripture a brother had brought out, I believe it's in Ephesians. It says how endeavor to build brotherly love and unity. You see what I'm saying? We got to go out of our ways to make sure. Sometimes you got to, hey, look, this brother don't want to come to you. You go to him just to show him, look, I'm serious. And then a lot of times that'll serve as a wake-up call. The brother be like, all right, next time I'm going to come to you and I'm going to work with you. You see what I'm saying? What you got? You got what I need?
What else you want?
He had that. Get the defense thing. There was some else. What was the point? The other point you had? Because it was something else. Oh, this is what I was going to say. And I brought this out. There's an interview with a brother by the name of AC Babalui, right? Some of y'all might not know who he is. That's an original Crip and the founder of the Pyrus in the same sense. He started both of them. So AC Babalui was telling a story, and in the midst of the story, he said, yeah, we was walking past my daddy's dry cleaner and said, wait a minute. Your father had a dry cleaner in South Central LA. Why didn't you get that business? And then you pass it on to your kids. That business, I guarantee you, an Asian person own that business. Or it's just not there. Either a Korean got it or it doesn't exist anymore. You see what I'm saying? Period. So how is it that in the 60s and the 70s, we had all of this, and then we just don't got it now? We just here, hands in our pockets. You see what I'm saying? Go. They offer you all that lump sum of money, and you just said, I'm going to get it. And then what happens when you get that money? A lot of times you run right through it. Instead of understanding the importance of the institution of your business in your neighborhood. That's more than a lump sum of money. You see what I'm saying? That's not only a lifetime of money for you, then your kids, then your grandkids. I asked. The barbershop storyline. He's like, I got to keep it. This is an institution. It's more than just, and that's where the love of money is the root of all evil. When I can come through with the bag and say, look, I mean, you know, here's 400 racks right now you can have, but then your kids are going to be broke. Go ahead, King.
Yeah, I'm from New York, and I grew up in Harlem, you know. And the fact that what we're speaking on is so powerful that it dawns on me that if you go to Harlem now, that not only black people in Harlem, it's been replaced by corporate America with rich white people. The brownstones that used to cost $175,000 now cost $4.5 million. No black man or any melanated can afford that, and that's because we dropped the ball.
Facts. That's very true. And then also, that deals with the self-hatred aspect, because everybody wants to get the hell. I want to get away from you niggas. You see what I'm saying? That's I want to, like the Tommy Sotomayor almost. I just need to get away from you niggas. You see what I'm saying? So then you move all in the burbs, but we not understanding surge like in San Diego. It's a thing where everybody moves east. Like the area that we in has a lot of black people and a lot of Hispanic people in it now. This was originally, because we in Lemon Grove now, so it's technically not in the city of San Diego, it's its own city. But Lemon Grove originally was an all-white town. This trolley that they have now. And once they built the trolley, a lot of Negroes start pushing east. So as the Negroes start pushing east, you got the white flight. So white people start fleeing east. And that's why you got some, what is it, East Lake, Santee, East Lake, El Cajon, that are renowned to having white supremacist groups and things like that. And guess what? Negroes are moving out there, flocking out there. White supremacist groups are hubs out here. But here I am flocking out here. But you know what? As the black man is doing that, you know what the white man is doing? Snatching up all the inner city real estate. All the hoods that you claiming. I mean, if you from San Diego, everybody claiming West Coast Crib, Lincoln Park, Scott. This is where the white man is buying his real estate at right now. You see what I'm saying? Especially West Coast, because it's right on top of downtown. That's the prime real estate that they want. Harlem is right on top of, you see what I'm saying? Manhattan, well, it is Manhattan. That's what they want. You had a point, Azan.
The gym where obviously Yash goes to, they was fighting that building off for like since I was like in middle school.
Wow.
They
And
were still fighting it off for a minute, but then
where's the gym at?
It's in National City.
In National City, okay.
Yeah, it's that spot where they made the Southwestern College. They made like a high rise right there.
It doesn't look like any other part of National City.
Yeah, just fought it off, and I think the guy got like $2 million.
And then why do they want National City? Because National City is close to the water. You see what I'm saying? National City, which has been just a place where, you know, in the naval base, you have all these Hispanics there, these black people there. It's like a hole in the wall town in San Diego County. But again, its proximity to the naval base and the water makes it prime real estate. So they go in there for cheap, they buy it up, then they change the face of it. Now you want to go see your old neighborhood. That's not what it is no more. You see, even the bodegas, like real quick, when we was out there in New York last week, we were at the bodegas. The Yemen man owning all the bodegas, that was the Puerto Rican bodega. Why don't the Puerto Rican? It's a bodega. You see, Dominicans, right? Now the Yemen own it. You see what I'm saying? I didn't see one. I seen a Hispanic man back there cooking. You see what I'm saying? But he wasn't running the show. You know, and then he's selling you, and then the Yemen man is selling you haram food that he won't eat, because we walked in because it was two on the block. We stayed in Brooklyn. We stayed in Sunset Park, so it was a bodega on either side of the street, but one was open late, one wasn't. So we go in there, and the first thing, he seen the way we dressed, he could tell we Israelites. So he's like, look, I don't eat here. He was like, y'all don't eat pork, right? I said, no. He said, look, I don't eat here. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just telling y'all that, because if I don't eat here, y'all probably don't want to eat here. You see what I'm saying? But you'll sell everybody all of this food. But how you going to sell somebody something you want to eat yourself? That should call a man immediately suspect. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we said, where's the halal spot, right? He said, that's across.
Yeah, that's across to them niggas. It's close. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Go ahead, kid. Exactly, right? But all of y'all smoke all you want, though, right? Go ahead.
I was say that's weird, because like in the black neighborhoods in New York though, they definitely getting cold. It's definitely weird. That's how I like it. But I was gonna say there's a little, I think it's the cultural side too. You know, I think that's so important. I was sitting here like growing up, the Israelites are the first people I seen tell a white person off. I mean, like I wanted to be an Israelite just because like, stand in the corner and scream at white people and you're not scared, like that changed the whole perspective. But some people do not know that culture. Some people never heard what's today's mathematics.
Yeah, of course.
So now some Arabs move to these neighborhoods, not even say Arabs, some move to these neighborhoods with no culture. And it goes back to like what you were saying, without wisdom, resources, and it's going to sway you certain ways. You see what I mean? If you don't have nobody to keep you in your discipline on the rock, and I think that's what happens with a lot of some of the Arab brothers, because in some areas, they promote that like hard. Like there's certain parts in Browns were like, no, they don't sell nothing out of code, and they tell you like that's all code. But the food, they no, we don't sell what we won't eat it. So it's like it's just a balance. But I think that's in some Spanish neighborhoods, there's no culture. And I even say some white neighborhoods. Some of us live in white neighborhoods.
Yeah, black white neighborhoods. He said
Some black people, there's no culture, there's no nothing, there's no Nation of Islam, no 5%ers, there's no Israelites, there's just nothing. It's just I go to school with white people and I just you know what I mean? That's, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? I put everybody as a 5%. Like that. No, they just
and what was cold is when because when Polite first started coming out here, he did a meeting with him on Sunset. He was like, man, he's I'm from New York. He said, man, a crackhead will tell you the black man is God. You know what I'm saying? In New York, he said, out here, brothers ain't on that. You know what I mean? Like it's few and far between. Like now, like came back. We went to an event in LA in South Central with another Israelite group out there, and it's just like we even are few and far between around here. You see what I'm saying? We even are few and far between. You see what I'm saying? So you know we're willing to push it, but you know out here, especially like the culture out here is the gang culture. You see what I'm saying? That's the most prevalent culture, and that's not exactly a culture. You know, that's more so like counterculture. You know what I mean? So you know we got those various aspects, but you know it's important to empower ourselves. Go ahead.
2 points. The brother was talking about gentrification in the hood. Man, I was just driving through the dip. Serious gang neighborhood.
Infamous is in.
Infamous. You came out, or when you started the camp about 5 years ago,
yes,
2012, right? And
yeah, I used to stay in the dip all the time.
He was taking us through, and it crazy. This is a spot you do not walk through. I'm driving through.
You don't see a white person over there.
I'm driving through the dip. Yeah, there's a white girl and an Asian girl just walking across the street. One of the most notorious our West Coast projects, Bay Vista apartments.
Yeah, Gangland. They was on Gangland.
On Gangland, yeah. And it's they walking through like ain't nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about. Listen, and I mean it's maybe like 6, 7 o'clock. So the sun is going down. This is where it gets active. You know what I mean? Tons of murders over in this area. And then 2, talking about the bodega, the dude, it's almost like you said, cultures and then code in some areas. But you also see where these foreigners are starting to take advantage of us, because one thing I noticed, like one thing I pay attention is somebody's haircut and their shoes. That's just me. First, I'm looking at shoes. Yeah. But, yeah, exactly. Now listen. In New York, what I noticed, black dudes don't get tapers. They don't do taper. They get the Caesar and it's all even and they just get the edge up with it. But with the Hispanics, they start getting tapers, you know, edge ups, and they be looking clean, right, with their beard. This dude, he's clearly an Arab dude. He got the crispy edge up. He got the taper. We going there after the 3rd night. He talking about, yeah, man, I was locked up. My niggas I was locked up with. Yada, yada, yada. Sitting like this dude, because if you don't know no better, you would think that this dude was maybe like Puerto Rican.
But calling niggas Papa and stuff, you know what I'm saying? He walking this brother, you know, he had his low cut. I don't know, his texture got kind of curly. Yeah. So he probably was thinking this brother's Dominican. So, oh, Papa, you know what I'm saying? This the Yemenese dude, though. You know.
Yeah, and like I said, after the 3rd night we go in there, we just asked him hella questions. He kept telling me, no, that's across the street. You can't eat that here. We don't sell it here. That's across the street. By the 3rd night, he's like, yeah, man, you know, because niggas around here, you know, I was locked up with my niggas, and they're all like, oh, which is
the nature versus nurture. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
He's dealing with you. You coming in the store every day. You see what I'm saying? He's starting to acquire your culture. You see what I'm saying at that point? So you know, which we see is happening. But like you said, San Diego is going crazy. Like even this brother, you know, where his house is. I came out of his house at 4 in the morning. I said it's over. I said it's over. If he's comfortable at 4 in the morning around here, around here, he's out of his mind. You're like, or not, he's out of his mind. If he's comfortable, then it's over.
Listen, this brother right here got stabbed right behind my house on some gang stuff. You know what I'm saying? Listen, where I grew up was on gangland.
Logan Heights.
Logan Heights. You know, with the MS-13s over there. I don't know them over there. But Sherman Heights.
Logan and Sherman.
I'm talking about notorious. All right, cartel gang.
Yeah, connected.
Right behind my house. I'm talking about they finding bodies behind my house. Like I said, this brother got stabbed there. And here it is, white folks is walking their dog at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Asian and the white folks both sides of you.
It's over. It's over. But also the thing is because we haven't really. We also got to understand our communities, you see what I'm saying? And if we see our communities have been deteriorated, in restoring them, you see what I'm saying? And through obtaining these resources, that's how we can begin to restore them. You see what I'm saying? Getting these businesses X, Y, and Z. You had something, Bizarre?
Yeah, my pops, although he's Bahamas, he has his business, signs, key cutting, all kind of different stuff that he built up himself. And he tried to pass it down to, I think it was maybe the youngest son. He's got like 11 boys and 3 girls. And
that brother's powerful. Yeah, I said that brother's powerful.
Hey, same color. So, it's got to be something, So
he got them strong genes.
Yeah. But my little brother, who he decided to give the company to, he follows after his mother, and she got something similar. She got the same type of company, you know what I'm saying? But because she left him, you know what I'm saying? So, whereas we would have that passed down, hopefully generation. This is probably the only person in the family that got something going for him. You know what I'm saying? When you finally do have it, some people just don't want it as well,
Yeah, exactly. Because we're taught to be employees as well. And that's something that I noticed when I went to college and I was studying small business. I realized that I've always been taught to go to college and get a job. You see, no one ever told me start your own business. But the ill situation about that is didn't work for nobody. My pops was self-employed. My pops had businesses and things like that doing because he's a DJ. You see what I'm saying? That's all he's ever done. But you tell me I got to go get a job. You see what I'm saying? Somebody having a 9-to-5 job at no point in my life was a reality to me. There was no point where, my pops go to work in the morning, and he comes home, and my pops will go out of town for 2 and 3 days, and then he'll fly back in. You see what I'm saying? Or, if he's working in town, he'll go out at night. You know what I'm saying? 11, he'll leave, and he'll be back in the wee hours of the morning. You see what I'm saying? So to tell me that that's what I got to do when that's not even a reality, you should have been putting me on to, doing the business grind. You see what I'm saying? So it's a disconnect, and, we just got to kind of reconnect. You have somebody?
Yeah, my father's uncle, he had his father. So my father had he had 3 mechanical shops in the part of San Diego. He had the first one on near I want to say it was on 30th, but now it's ran by SICARRI. But the thing is, they had the company signs where we had a street, and the alley was called the Bond Way. It used to be a street. Now it's just dirt. It used to be to where Jakes can come down on Northern 32nd. And see that mechanic. My grandpa used to work out in the garage. But then he had my father as well. At a young age, work out of the garage. And it was going to get passed down to him. It got passed down to his son. So his son my great uncle had an off with my grandfather on the splitting of my grandfather and my grandma. So the whole thing, planned out to where he just shut all the mechanical shops down and just sold me the money, got all that money, splurged on it, got a crazy ass woman.
I was about to say, where's the woman? I knew the woman was coming.
Wheel went to her.
The casino. A lot of that money went to the casino.
The houses were gonna go to my father, but because it was a duplex, one in the front, one in the back. They both went to him. He sold them both off.
You see that your daddy ain't get nothing. Now he got to go get his own house. Q, go ahead.
I would say to that, and also to the gentrification, it's policing. Like the police reality that we have, that's why white people are so comfortable now. They pay the policemen, the jail system, they're very confident. There's 1,000 jails all over the country, and the fact that we stop policing ourselves, you see what I mean? Like that shouldn't have happened. I've had stuff like that happen in my family, and my family's pretty much dead right now. Like I don't have that much family left. But I saw how that stuff broken up. My family went gay in the 80s that America stuff here. My mother's side of the family wiped out the whole family. And it left out with the few that was left over. They started doing a little, I'm a Mason, I got this money from the city, I got this one. And they're just dying with money in their mattress. They got like 4 aunts that's like 90 years old with like 100,000 in their mattress. I want to talk to them. And they're just waiting to die just like so they can count the mattress money. And that's wrong. You know what I mean? And to me, that goes back to like even what happened with Tommy's situation. We got to regulate ourselves. You see what I mean? Like, there's no reason why somebody should take that from the family. And I think that's the fact that it's okay to be policed, But the fact that we allowed that police culture in ourselves, where we're not even regulating our own selves, because this man just bought a bunch of tools, and you had I'm just listening to the story that 20 years from before. You know what I mean? Like that storefront with all the tools in it, and he never had about tools. You know what I mean? Like that's it. You know what I mean? And it's just these little small things where 20 years later down the line, it's like, then we starting all over again. He's just now paying off his tools, and you trying to get another shot. That's crazy to me. It's like, we already did this 20 years ago. You know, and it's about regulation. So y'all family, you know, regulate.
Yeah, go ahead, Azan.
That's funny that you put that because my grandfather's been working in the same business that I have. And his sons, he brought me up since I was 8. I was doing the same thing with him. My uncles, all my uncles know how to do what I do. And none of them started a business. They still all work for
Still all work for a white man. You see what I'm saying? And they how old? Your grandfather is how old?
My grandpa's like 60 something, man. He's still working too, man.
Yeah, and see, that's the cool thing about it too.
Yeah, that's why.
See,
but see, that's the thing. There's so much, like, I don't even know how to call it. It's just ego. Yeah, ego, and everybody, like, is that like I'm older than you, and you know what I mean? I know more than you do.
Yeah, automatically, which we got to understand in number one, experience, like the scripture speaks about experience, right? Experience is the greatest teacher. So because of they're older, they have more experience, but at the same time, it's new information and new technology and things like that out here that younger people are more empowered with, as opposed to looking, because that's where, like the scriptures say, there was going to be dissension between old and young. To where now, when a young person steps to an old person, is like, look, you know, I want to help you out with A, B, and Z. We could do this. This is new information now. You look at him like, man, I've been doing this 60 years. I know how to do this. The hell with what you talking about. You see what I'm saying? Instead of saying, all right, what information do you got? We can pair that with my experience. I can put you on, and everybody do it together. You see what I'm saying? So that's also something that's of extreme importance for us. Go ahead.
You know, good point to go off of that. You can kind of flip your thinking and kind of turn it into like a new age thing. You know how apps are big now? You can turn your operation into something mobile. So then you can get a hold of like a used van or a truck, and then like, you know, so there's all kinds of people that are learning how to make apps, and they're trying to get experience. So you can get an app made for like $100.
That's true.
With that, just work locally in San Diego. People hit you up.
It's the Uber model. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people are tapping into the Uber model.
That knocked out your over.
I think I don't know if I told you, but it was that I was trying to do the mobile things. It's a lot better because sometimes people don't want to take their car to the shop.
That's right. You take the tow truck and there goes $300.
Not just a tow truck, but just like say that they got cars in front of his car, so now they gotta wait 4 days before they even get the car back.
And also, based upon your location, you potentially cutting off business from the other side of town, because they're going to go to who's closer to them as opposed to you. You see what I'm saying? You're only going to get who's in your neighborhood or people that you know. But if you everywhere, you see what I'm saying, then your business is unlimited. You can reach the whole area, Karam.
Going back to Ecclesiastes 7:12, we are all wise in this new day and age. You know what I'm saying? My dad, he won't admit it, but a great part of his success is me and my brother, how we know how to market in this day and age. Like I feel like kind of going back to what Will was saying, we are all taught to be workers. You know what I mean? We got great ideas, very innovative, but we just don't know how to apply it. A lot of us, even if like, you know what I mean, Isaiah, you already understand. You know what I mean? You know what your target, where you want to go and what you want to do. You know, you got that wisdom to do it, especially in our day and age. You know how to use that internet. That's your key business.
It's that curse, that dissension between one and
you. Go ahead, Ken. Build on your point.
And I wanted to say this, man. Like Q just made a good point about the situation between Izan and what he's going through with one, you know, needed to buy tools, the situation I had with his brother's family, right? And how your father got messed up, right? And what he said was, he said, we're trying to do all of these things, but we already went through these issues 20 years ago, right? But what that made me think about is when we bring it into the world of these Hebrew Israelites, right? We got to start learning from the issues and the problems that and the faults that because anytime I start to learn about the history more and more about why it's all of these divisions in these camps is because of problems and tiffs and issues that our elders got with each other that ain't got nothing to do with us, brother, because he's linking up with brothers like Q Butter or Sonetta or, you know,
especially they hate me
or we merging with, you know, with MASHARAH, YASHARAHLA. Yeah. Because they got an issue with these elders, it ain't got nothing to do with us. Yet when the elders in MASHARAH, YASHARAHLA go and links up with GMS, it's all love. We had issues with GMS for the past 3 years, but when we go link up with them, it's all love.
Yeah, as soon as they see us,
it's just love. It ain't got nothing to do with us. And if we sit up here and realize and understand how all these splits happen, be in the same position to go through that same thing, that's when it becomes dumb. That's when you become an idiot, because you're doing the same dumb stuff that they did a while ago. and like I said, it clicked in my mind when he said, you trying to do the same thing that we already did 20 years ago. And now we're in the same problem. Exactly. Now we're in the same boat. And doing the same thing over and over, thinking different results. So I say that, you know, for brothers that's out there, you know, and I'm gonna tell you this, straight up, dealing with UPK, all right, because they've been the main people coming at us lately, and instead of you wanting to sit down and have a conversation about it, you'd rather go on Facebook, go on your live stream, and then bang about it, and now you causing more issue, which is going to cause a further divide. Why are you want to sit up here and carry on a 20-year-old fight and then put me in it when this shit happened before I was even born? This is the dumbest thing in the world for me to get caught up in. That's what gangbanging happened. That's gangbanging. I'm going to fight over a color or because Putin got jumped, after such and such didn't want to get down with his gang, and that's how the Bloods formed, and now I'm a Blood because come on, that's stupid as hell, man. That's stupid as hell. So it's all through the spirit that the brother came in and laces with the game that he did, because it's putting us in the mindset to start moving forward and not repeating the same dumb shit that our parents have been doing. And that's just straight up gonna happen. The brother just said it. We dropped the ball. Can't say me because I wasn't even around then. It's his generation, and he's able to realize it and make sure that our generation don't go through the same thing. Come on, man. That's real. Straight up, I'm arguing with a brother with a UPK brother, and we arguing about what rank is you, and I'm telling him if I came with a UPK, I'm ranked, I'll be over you, nigga. And I'm on the phone with this brother, and I'm about to write something foul because the dude turned around and called me a faggot. I'm like, okay, well, nigga, well, I'm gonna see you when I see you. What type of faggot we gonna? I stopped. I said, I stopped. I was on the phone with this brother. I said, you know what? I'm gonna write him back. Who was on there? Was you on there? Hassan was on there. This brother. I said, you know what, Salak. First, let me say that first of all, guys. I didn't get into the truth to start beefing with the same dudes I'm trying to unite with. It don't make no damn sense. If I was gonna continue to do that, I would have stayed gangbanging, rolling through the dip instead of seeing some Asian. I would have said, "Hey, ho, get up out my dip, get up out my set." Blood, you know, I'd have banged on a little Asian and white girl.
Yeah, what y'all doing over here?
Yeah, what you doing over here? You know what I'm saying? I would have continued that whole little lifestyle. But the whole point is that we gotta get out of that. We gotta get out of that BS mentality, man.
That's right.
You know,
because I mean, it ain't worked yet. We've been doing it.
It ain't worked yet. But that whole mentality, it goes on all sides. It goes with finances. It goes with career choices. It goes with, you know, whatever faith you're gonna put your, you know, put your mind towards. It goes on everything. And learn from what didn't work, and then let's incorporate and build from there, man. I just wanted to put that out there because it's the craziest thing in the world. You know, when we went and we seen the elders, they didn't say it, but from what I got from it is, I'm right and you're wrong, and you knew I was right back in the day, and I'm better than you. Man, get the hell out of here. That don't make no damn sense. So we got to get out. We got to get out of that.
Oh, would you have something? All right, you are good, King. Appreciate you, man.
Gentlemen,
shalom,
hey,
shalom.
For allowing me to be here with you and family. Have a new insight on the culture.
Absolutely.
And it's very informative. I see that it's about family.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's about family.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All you brothers.
You as well, King. You as well.
Hold your head up.
What's up? All right, King.
Right there.
Hey, you look.
Precipice.
I got a couch. If you ever come to New York, I got a couch in New York.
There's enough good brothers right here just to show that there's a possibility for us.
Okay, all right, for sure, for sure.
Point.
That's right.
That's all that matters right now. Anyway, blessings, gentlemen.
All right, for sure.
Okay.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
All right,
You want me to bring it up?
Yeah, bring that out.
This book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small.
You see that? Be not ignorant of anything. Or matter of fact, break it down real quick. I'm doing something.
Kind. It says, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So, I mean, like, I was telling a brother before, this brother broke down the word comprehension before, right? Meaning when you dealing with it etymologically, meaning to completely apprehend.
That's a genetic fallacy, brother.
You said what?
That's a genetic fallacy.
Oh, yeah, right. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. Yeah, right. All right. But when you apprehend something, you have full control over. All right. Meaning you don't understand, you overstand. When you're standing over something, you have that control of it. So being ignorant of something in a smaller sense, but you're trying to gain the understanding of something greater that goes really literally back to the scriptures of trying to eat the meat, drink the wine, but you don't want to accept the milk. So you got to be well-rounded and be circumspect as the law commands us to be. All right. You don't want to be ignorant in anything. You want to definitely be well-rounded in your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and what you're perpetuating.
I am leaving anyone that's actually the woman that was with me is an instructor at a school that I attended for fiber optics and telecommunications.
That's right.
It is the future, gentlemen.
That's right.
All right. It is the future. We're leaving some business cards. Anyone that's interested in getting themselves educated, getting themselves licensed in these fields, please feel free to
appreciate you,
cards and get in contact with us. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Rich. All right, bro. Go ahead.
But yeah, you know, being circumspect and not being too big for things like, you know, something smaller in terms of finances. See, my thing is brothers get into you know, the truth, and they feel like they start reading the Bible, they start figuring out who they are, and they start feeling like everything else doesn't matter. And to a degree, yeah, you don't ever let, you know, anything outside of the truth or outside of the scriptures start to dictate your life and start to rule over you. But you need to be knowledgeable in everything that's around you, because this is the situation that we're in. We got to be knowledgeable of the captivity that we're in. So therefore, we're able to maneuver and be able to uphold these laws, statutes, and commandments as best as possible, so that things aren't hitting us, you know, or creeping in unaware. All right. We got to be knowledgeable on how to, you know, keep our finances in order, how to run our household, you know, where to send our kids to school, all of these different things. So you got to be knowledgeable on, you know, vaccinations. You got to be knowledgeable on, I don't know, you know, certifications. You got to be knowledgeable on, you know, when you're obligated to shave your beard at work, state law, federal law, all of these different things. Because I remember Chief Priest brought up before how certain jobs, they can't force you to cut your beard off. They can't force you to do certain things. They can't force you, or they can't even ask you why you're taking off work.
Yeah, like it's because I took, like I was saying, in college, I took a small business course. So there was one, you know, I had 2-hour classes. So there was one 2-hour class where my instructor literally went through a laundry list of things that you cannot do because you can get sued for them, and you are literally violating somebody's civil rights by doing so. Anytime your job asks you, if your job asks you if you have a car, unless the job requires you to have a car, right? If you work at McDonald's, you're not required to have a car. If you're a delivery person, you're required to have a car. You see what I'm saying? Unless they're providing it. But if your job doesn't require you having a car, your civil rights have been violated if you've been asked if you have a car or transportation. Your civil rights have been violated. The moment that they ask you that, you have a lawsuit. They're not that all they are legally allowed to ask you is, we need you to work 9 to 5. Can you be here by 9? That's it. Anything past how you're gonna get it, they just can ask you, are you gonna be there? Right? You say, yeah, I'm gonna be there. They can't ask you how you're gonna be there. They've already violated your civil rights. If you want a day off and they ask you why you want a day off, you're violating your civil rights. You don't have to tell them that. I just need the day off. Why do you want to know so much? You see what I'm saying? That's that. Your job is not to be involved into my personal life. My job is to come here and work. Your job is to come here and work and supervise my work here, not my personal life. So there's so many things that they do that like on an interview, it's so, and also you can't have you, who's been on an interview and they ask you to tell you about, or tell them about yourself? Has anybody ever on an interview? That's against the law. They can't do that. The job, who you are is not, your qualifications for performing the job is what they should be asking you about. They shouldn't be asking you about anything else. So then also, if you have anything that is what they would deem religious in issues as far as that goes, they can't deprive you of that. You see what I'm saying? Period. So even like you said with the beard, that's why, you know, you have certain brother like Priest Kahan who provides those exemption papers. And all that does is, that doesn't get you an exemption. That reminds you that you have the right. That reminds your employer that it's your right to be exempt from certain things. You see what I'm saying? That's what that does. Right? But go ahead.
And with being ignorant of certain things, man, that's when Esau is able to control you, and that's when you're gonna have the most conflict between serving the Most High to your best ability and to the fullest, your fullest potential, and, you know, serving your master, or, you know, serving mammon. Excuse me. All right. Don't just bow down because the white man said it. All right. You got to be. I just looked up the word circumspect, meaning to take heed. All right. You got to take heed to anything that is going to benefit you during this time of captivity, and that's also going to contribute to you edifying another brother. All right. Knowledge is key in this power. What you got, Crow?
This is my super powerful class we have. Being wise in all things, a lot of times Esau's captivity is just literally speaking the language. Like with that, what Q was doing, he was speaking. I mean, I understood what he was talking about most times, but a lot of times he was speaking a whole nother language that we're not taught in our community.
Familiar, right?
We're just simply not taught these things. So, like for example, in the business world, every Wednesday I go in the council. I go to the contractor association, marketing. People literally, that's all it is.
Right.
Our biggest hang up is, especially in like the business world, is we're not getting these certifications that we kind of mentioned earlier. Are simple. Like it can be $15 to go get a certain type of certification that you're just not taught about, which takes you off your job. I bring this up all the time. Who built Lincoln High School? You feel me? We wasn't out there. That's our community. Being wise in all things to understand the certain certifications to go and to do these things. We're not understanding the language to go out and go and do the work. Especially in our community.
Go ahead, because I got a point to what you're going to say. Go ahead, because I'm.
I was going to say to go off of what I was saying is how you know, being in the captivity, you just kind of automatically agree to things. And when Q Butter was talking about how when you agree to making those payments, they got you right then and there, because you're scared of the system. You're scared to speak up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're scared to exercise, what you're actually free to exercise. You know what I mean? It's not against the law for you to say, actually, you're gonna have to give me a contract and prove that I signed that or that I agreed to that. A lot of people just get scared and they're like, yeah, okay, I'll pay you, please give me da. And they got you right then and there. You know?
That fear, control them off.
Exactly.
Right there. That's how you control somebody. And we live in fear of white people. Period.
Real quick, what this brother just said, because I got 2 points, I don't want to lose them. What this brother said, that's being ignorant in a small matter.
Yeah.
Something that costs $15 there's something small but can make a big difference. We're ignorant of. Also, we don't consider it either. What you said, right? It wasn't until I worked in a call center that I understood when a bill collector calls me, I could just hang up the damn phone, and I hang up. Before it seemed like, oh shit, I answer the phone, it's just run. Shit. Yeah, this is me. What's up? Well, you know, we guys. It's just like, damn. You feel like, what am I even on the phone with you for? Bye. I could talk mad yards of trash. This is a third party company. You don't work for the government. You don't work for the law. Fuck you. I'm getting off this damn phone. What are you asking me all these damn questions for? You know what I'm saying? But like this brother said, fear, through the fear of it, they get you there, and now you done agreed to make a payment. Listen, you feeling bad yourself because you know what I mean, you done took this bread. You like, damn, okay, well, give me to the 13th. Call me back on the 13th. I should have some money then. Now it's the issue. What was you?
You know, we were just talking about that. Remember in the ride up, you were saying how you can trick someone to thinking that you're not the person who you really are, and they'll tell you everything.
So my woman, just to add on to that, my woman was telling me that it's certain verifications that they have to get in order to even divulge certain information to you. Yet when you get on the phone with them, you know, you're trying your best to avoid talking to them rather than trying to trick them to give you the information without going through their proper steps. Like you said, yeah, you know, I want to let you know that I'm recording. Oh, well, I'm recording you too. Well, sir, I don't think that you should. All right, well, you can't hang up. Now I done got you tricked. That was the coolest thing in the world. Because if you don't want to continue the conversation, I'm telling you, I'm going to record you. If you hang up, now I can use that against you. Right. We don't never think sharp like that. The scriptures say, "Be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove." And we only will be that use that type of serpent trickery and cunning ability on ourselves. From a nigga to a nigga, or from a Hispanic to you only do it to yourself. When it comes to Esau, you just try to be as proper, and because instead of you trying to get over on them, you trying to show them that they're better.
Like we did 3,000 years ago.
That's right.
Me and Jacob.
That's right.
So Planet Esau. Now we're scared to do it.
Now we're scared to do it.
I could appreciate yeah, like how the brothers were saying, being learned.
It's funny. It's funny you saying that, because we was just in the store making a huge joke about. They pulled up some lentils, and I said, "Man, you know how cold our father is. He's sitting there frying up the lentils, looking at Esau come in like, I mean, I can eat these lentils, but you know, you're going to have to give me something for it, man." Oh, well, what? The birthright. I need the birthright. Who would? I'm about to say, who would have even thought to suggest something like that? So you would go
because
ahead.
it was extreme too. For something so small like a bowl of lentils, you come on. I want a piece of pizza. Well, you know, your laptop is looking real good, right? You're telling me you're gonna compare my laptop to a piece of that $5 pizza? Hey, look, you're not gonna hang up. That's gonna be the new slogan. You're not gonna hang up.
This is how the bros were talking about being just knowing how Esau works, because we're, you know, right now we're stuck in this system. We're stuck in this hell. So just learning the ways on how they operate, because we got to do it right until the king. But this is a book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 22. This was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, in words and in deeds. That's King James. But let me read this other version. I think it's the Holman Bible. It says, "So Moses was educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, and was powerful in his speech and actions." So I think that just goes back to, you know, we know this place is spiritually known as Egypt, so we might as well be educating, you know, on how what's it saying Obadiah, right? How the things of Esau searched out, right? How they sought up, have to do and then learn, and that's just gonna better make Chief Priest said, you're not going to be able to escape the struggle, right? But these are things that can just help you out with the struggle, because we know we're under the curses. So,
and just be careful, because in California, you know, a verbal agreement is legally binding. So you talk business, anything like that, and you agree, parties come to terms verbally, and you both agree, that's legally binding in Cali. So be careful with that as well.
Yeah, I think I looked at where they said like agreements are like the limitation on agreements is like 4 years. Like 2, so they can still get you for at least like 2 years.
What was that?
When I was doing photography for the hotel in the Bahamas, you know, I came across the police, you know what I'm saying, that from the US and everything like that, Mike, and you know, and he just told me, we play off of your stupidity. We play off the fact that you don't know the laws. So because you don't know the laws, I win. You know what I'm saying? So because we're so afraid of going into the system, dealing with the system, dealing with all these, for better lack of term, you know what I'm saying? So, you know,
we just automatically get what, like, for example, something as simple as showing them your ID. You know, there's not a law that says you got to show somebody your ID, you know, show the police your ID when they ask you for it. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, you just quick to do it because you don't want no problems with them. You see what I'm saying? Which in sometimes is smart, because like Howard Shai said, sometimes you got to know when to just agree with your adversary quickly so you can get the hell out the way.
You don't
sometimes,
get shot, right?
Yeah, so sometimes it's not, you know, all the fuss and trouble that it's going to be. But sometimes you need to stand your ground and show them I'm not one of these dummies out here. You see what I'm saying? At the same time, what's up?
I got a question in regards to the Sabbath. So
I know how people speak upon, you know, we can't go to work, things of that nature.
Mhm.
I also know how it says that the Sabbath was made for man.
Come.
The Sabbath. So would it then be off to go enjoy yourself? You know, you and your woman go get a bite to eat or go see a movie on the Sabbath?
That's a good question. Let me get Exodus. Get Exodus. What is that, man?
Isaiah?
No, give me Exodus. Get that too, matter of fact. But get Exodus 16 and 29. That's a good question. Exodus 16 and 29. I'll go to the long on it because you know, I'm sure people like, you know, because like I say, the Sabbath was made for man. Man isn't made for the Sabbath. So what does that mean? What can a man? What does a man benefit from the Sabbath? You get time to rest. All right. You also get time not to spend your money. Also, you get that's one day you're not spending money. That saves you money. How much money do you spend in a day? How much money would you spend if you could spend the money on the Sabbath? You see what I'm saying? The Most High is helping you out and giving you time to regenerate yourself on that Sabbath. So let's see what first and foremost the law say on the Sabbath. Read.
God. Book of Exodus, chapter 16, verse 29. See, Most High have given you the Sabbath.
The Sabbath, read on.
Therefore, he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man.
Listen to this. Abide ye every man, read on, in his place. On the Sabbath, you're supposed to stay home. That's what it say. So what I look like going out to get a bite to eat and going catching a movie. I can understand if you wasn't prepared, like it says, gather on this. It says on the 6th day, gather twice as much. So on the day before the Sabbath, you're supposed to be going into a time of preparation for the Sabbath on the day that you're not going to be able to do it. Let's say, again, because of potentially the nature of this captivity, even in the time of Yahushua, they wasn't prepared and they went and picked the corn on the day they weren't supposed to pick the corn, but they had to eat. What are they going to do, starve? You see what I'm saying? So let's say you got to. I'm definitely not going out to catch a movie and enjoying myself. Why? Because that isn't a necessity. Feeding your family is a necessity. So if you are in the unfortunate conundrum of the fact that you're going to need grace to cover you in an instance where you were ill prepared for the Sabbath and you got to go get something, grace may cover that. Grace don't cover a damn movie. I'm going to tell you that right now. Grace don't cover the bar. Grace don't cover the club. Grace doesn't cover anything that isn't a necessity. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to run out of gas on the way to do something, you got to put some gas. That would go as a necessity. You see what I'm saying? But you saying, you know what, I'm going to stop by Cold Stone. I'm going to stop by Baskin Robbins. Give me an ice cream too. Now, listen, now you're going, I'm going to stop by the liquor store and catch this bottle. Now you're going off because you don't need ice cream. You don't need alcohol. You need food. You see what I'm saying? Your car may need gas in it. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Somebody's definitely ill. They may need medicine. You see what I'm saying? But anything that's not a need, grace ain't covering you on that time. Going to the movies on the Sabbath, going to the bar. Come on. Are we being serious here? That's insanity. I'm gonna go. I'm a date coming up. All on Sabbath. Oh man, you had something?
The rest of it.
Oh, finish it, Salaki. You had somebody on Salaki. Go ahead.
Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day.
Stay your ass in the house on the 7th day. I'm just got to tell you what the book say, right? Azan. Is it in the yard? Yeah. That's reasonable. Your quarter, like your place, you know, in the ancient times would be, you know, your land. You see what I'm saying? Kids are gonna play. You can't stop a kid from playing. See you know what the Jewish man doing the Sabbath? His kid can't play on the Sabbath. Have any damn fun on the Sabbath. They sit there, the phone will be ringing. Jewish man, right? Just rabbi, just sitting. Just wait, just looking at the sun. When is it gonna go down? That's not the Sabbath. That's not even rest. That's adding anxiety to yourself because you're so anxious for the sun to go down. Rest is you just being at the crib and just chilling out, man. You see what I'm saying? We just gonna chill because sometimes you have a day you want to take the kids out. Sometimes you have a day and say, we just gonna chill. You see what I'm saying? We just gonna kick it today. We're gonna relax. We're gonna put on some movies. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just have a real nice, relaxing family day. We're gonna eat some sandwiches or something. You see what I'm saying? That way we ain't gotta cook. We're gonna have a light day. That's what the Sabbath is about. Not about going to the movie. Go ahead.
I also got
Hold on, real quick. Anybody, any other questions on that? We got one more precept on it. Real quick.
Book of Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath.
If thou do what?
Turn away thy foot from the Sabbath.
From the Sabbath. Read on.
From doing thy pleasure.
What?
From doing thy pleasure.
Thy pleasure. What's a pleasure on the Sabbath? Going to the movies, taking a girl out on a date is a pleasure on the Sabbath. The scriptures say, do not do your pleasure on the Sabbath. What also is your pleasure? Sex. Don't have sex on the Sabbath. All right? You got guys that teaching it's okay. Get some box on the Sabbath. That's going off. You can't do that. Have one day. All right? Just one day. Just one day. Allow your, you know, allow yourself to be replenished, man. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's about. It's about replenishment in the spirit.
Yeah, that's what it means. The Sabbath is made for, man. You actually enjoy it when you understand you have no responsibility that day.
When you just chilling. You see what I'm saying? That's just a great day. I'm just cooling today.
I wanted to add, like, when you said on the Sabbath, when you go to the camp and stuff, and it's a Sabbath, go in one store and buy everything from that one store. Don't just buy something from over here and on now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna hit, you know what I mean? We got by near our camp for those brothers that's not familiar, that's watching, and sisters. You know, we have a laundry list of businesses right across the street. When it is the Sabbath, when we're out there, you know, brothers, listen, I'm not gonna hit Jamba Juice and then hit, you know what I mean, Chipotle. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna go and if I have to eat, you see what I'm saying, which, you know, we need that replenishment of food while we're on the streets teaching. You know, we just gonna go to Chipotle. We just gonna go to Wingstop and get everything we need right there. We're not gonna be hitting Starbucks and getting a latte. Then I'm gonna go to get my food. You see what I'm saying? You can get your food at Starbucks if you want. Starbucks got food now. I don't know if people know that. You see what I'm saying? So that's the necessity thing. You don't need to get all these extra pleasantries. You see what I'm saying? That brothers are so bent on getting sometimes, right? Azan. All right. Hassan, you have something else?
So in Numbers 15:38, how it talks about putting fringe on the border of our garment.
Mhm.
So I was under the assumption that a garment is like a robe.
Mhm.
Thing, you know, so how do
Like
we
the garments we wear at camp, you mean?
yeah, like more like apparel.
Okay,
So
okay.
how would we then prove that a garment isn't exclusive to like a long robe, but
Okay,
also
okay.
like pants and shirt?
Somebody give me Numbers 15:38 and pull it up in the Hebrew. Pull up the Hebrew on it, because it's just a matter of, just like Deuteronomy 22:5, right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the understanding of that was corrected, that it means a woman should not wear that which pertaineth to a warrior. A woman should not wear a warrior's garment.
I never went to war.
That's the type of crazy. Deborah at war. I can show me Deborah singing and then men going to war. I didn't know she was singing with, you know, a camouflage suit on. You know, Xena warrior princess. But you know, when you go into the Hebrew, because like people are so insane. Somebody tried to say you're going to go into another language to try to justify women wearing pants. Number one, nobody's trying to justify anything. I'm just trying to read what it was written in and see what the Most High told our ancestors to write down. You understand what I'm saying? Contrary to popular belief, King James translation is not flawless. If you want to prove that, it say Easter in it. You know you're not supposed to celebrate Easter, don't you? You see what I'm saying? So it's not. It's good, and it's the best one that's out there.
Yeah, he was a Christian.
As far as translating from into English, because we speak English, but the King James version and everything. You want me to prove the King James version isn't everything? Version do the tribe of Zebulun read? You see that King James had nothing to do with that. Right? So there are different translations of the Bible. There's a Spanish one. There's a Haitian Creole. We got our own Bible. That's not the King James version. So the King James version is not and cannot be the end all be all. Why? Tribes and all the people of the world don't speak it. So that don't even make sense. But for those of us that are speaking English, the best English translation that exists is the King James Version. So that's what we go off of. Does it have its flaws? Of course it does. You see what I'm saying? Again, Easter's in there, right? They call Moses' son, the son of Manasseh, as a son of Moses on purpose. Misidentified somebody. That goes back to the Masoretes, because they didn't want one of Moses' sons being. They didn't want to let people know that one of Moses' kids was wicked. But plenty of righteous men had wicked kids in the Bible. It happened all the time. Right? Absalom. You see what I'm saying? So we have this. But the importance is we have to take a look at the Hebrew to get this is what's ill about the term etymology. Etymology means the study of truth or the true sense. We need to get the true sense of what is being spoken about in order to know what's going on. If we're not doing that, you know who we are? We're the Christian church. If we're not doing that. You see what I'm saying? So let's give me numbers 15 and 38, read it in English, and then hit garments in the Hebrew. The English version.
Book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them.
Are we the children of Israel? Yes, we are. They say, and do what? Bid them, read on.
That they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
It says, bid them, tell them to make fringes in the borders of their garments, read on.
Throughout their generations.
Throughout the, meaning forever. We're supposed to do this. It says, bid them that they make fringes, right? On the borders of their garments. Give me the word for garments. Let's see what garments mean. If it's just a Hebrew garment. You know, that's the question, because this is what certain people are propagating. Let's see if that's biblically sound, Hebraically sound in the spirit or not. Yeah, it's new. They just changed it. Yeah, just click the number right here. Yeah, right. Boom. That's it. All right. So click right there. Like it. Okay, they just changed it. Okay. So it's Strong's H898, which is bagad, and it says clothing. Did it say a Hebrew garment? Did it say warlike apparel? It's a clothing, right? I mean, I go to a clothing store in order to buy the shirt, don't I? Right? So it say on your clothing. It didn't specify the type of clothing. I'm gonna tell you how much nonsense that is. They put a fringes on a dress, right? On a skirt. Where the dress and the skirt, is that a Hebrew garment? Dress and a skirt, brother. The niggas are crazy, man. Bizarre. Oh, well, yeah. I go to the garment district and I could get different clothing. A garment is clothing. People go to the term Hebrew garment and just think, oh, that's a garment. Your pants are a garment. Your shirt is a garment. You see what I'm saying? You ever heard of the term undergarments before? All right. Do you only wear drawers under a Hebrew garment, or do you wear drawers every day? I would hope. What? Go ahead. So maybe they don't have that understanding, because they free ball by America. No, it comes from an under-righteous spirit, because they're trying to circumnavigate a law. It applies to my Hebrew garment. You see what I'm saying? Which it doesn't only apply to your Hebrew garment. It applies to your clothing. Put fringes on your clothing to the best of your abilities. You see what I'm saying? That's it. Guys trying to circumvent that or trying to spite. Some people may be doing it out of spite, because the group of people that you attribute to the pioneering of, that or bringing that, because everybody got to understand, you have various Israelite groups that exist. Certain Israelite groups, through the Spirit, the Most High gave them revelation on something, or put a spirit on them to magnify something that gets out amongst the nations, right? So in doing so, If you have some resentment or some grudge against the group that did that, you then may be adamantly against it, just predicated upon the grudge or the resentment that you have against those people. And you should never do that, because if they're right, they're right. You see what I'm saying? Like, you had a lot of people with this Ruth issue that came up. People trying to make Ruth the Israelite, right? The brothers from True Nation, they brought out how, now we was on the fence about it, really. It didn't really matter. But the brothers from True Nation, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, did a magnificent breakdown proving Ruth was a Moabite, was a heathen, was not an Israelite, right? Now, they did that, and it gave the breakdown that gave us understanding on it. So we had the proper breakdown through the spirit on it. Now, we could have easily got proud and acted like them niggas ain't teach us nothing, and we came up with this on our own, or attacked them and said, nah, the hell with that. Them niggas don't know what they talking about, based off of some type of personal ego trip. But that's off. If somebody bringing out, I don't care who they is. Like, I had that issue with Tahar. We went in on him over the comments he made about a uncle could deal with his niece. Then when I went to see him in New York, he gave me the example of it. And I had to bear witness to it. And then I even went and double checked and verified. And it was in fact right and exact. Because guess who else was a product of a auntie, not an uncle and a niece, but an auntie and a nephew relationship? Does anybody know? The man named Moses, who gave you the law. So if, see that? Othaniel got with his niece, and Amram got with his auntie, which produced Moses. There's two examples of that relationship happening either way. I know it's very strange to us, right? But plenty of brothers got with their cousins.
We could go to Moses and his sons in their one.
Yeah, come right.
Giving them to each other to repopulate.
Yeah, all the cousins. You see what I'm saying? That's not something that's of common practice, or that I see brothers doing today. But the point is, it's not unlawful technically. You see what I'm saying? That's all the point was. So he was able to tell me that, and I was able to say, you know what? You're right. I could have easily said, man, you a child molester. To hell with you. I could have easily said that, but no, because he said, he said, hey, you got on me about that niece thing, but look, and I said, all right, y'all watch the video. I said, give me the breakdown. And if it was BS, come on now. He said Othaniel, and as soon as he said Othaniel, I already knew what he was talking about, but it just wasn't in my mind. You see what I'm saying? I never thought about it in that aspect, but that's exactly what happened. An uncle got with his niece. You see what I'm saying? That happened. Then also brought to mind Amram, Moses' father, that was a husband of his auntie. This happened in the Bible. So can we, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's just what it is. It don't matter who's bringing it out. Right is right. One second, Assad, a Bible recall.
So what does that mean when it says, like, how do you break that down in the scripture? It says like an aunt can't mess with a nephew.
It doesn't say an aunt can't mess with a nephew. That's the point. It qualifies who near kinsmen are. Near kinsmen are your mother, your sister. You understand what I'm saying? Your daughter. That's your near kinsman. Your cousin and your auntie. Now, so like, go ahead. Your line. Directly related to your line.
In NIV, would it say honor and nephew or something like that? Maybe.
No, it says you can't have sex with your uncle's wife, for she is thine aunt. Yeah, because she's joined to your uncle. That's somebody's wife. You can't have sex with her. You can't have sex with her anyway. You see what I'm saying?
I think that's where the confusion comes in.
Moses was making sure you understand she was not a communal woman. All right. Why? Why did he have to do that? Who knows why Moses had to emphasize why women that were married to members of your family were not, it wasn't all good for the cookout. The homies couldn't have none. Y'all got to know y'all history, man. Because Reuben fucked his daddy's woman. That's why.
I thought you were going to say, I wanted you to repeat the question. I didn't understand it.
Reuben dealt with his daddy's woman. So here Moses is re-implementing to you, don't deal with your family members. Of course, he told you don't commit adultery at all. You see what I'm saying? But you see what Reuben did. Now he don't excel it. They down there in the damn swamps. I was in South Florida. I saw no Reubenites. All right? Meaning what? They're somewhere in a damn swamp. All right? And some of them in Mexico. You got Vocab Malone talking about how were the Seminoles all the Reubenites when there's only but so many of them. Nigga, you know how many of them went to Mexico, you idiot? Do you do studies? How many's in Oklahoma? How many's in Texas? How many have mingled in with black people and are no longer a part of tribal registry? The white man created a false lie system called the Native American blood quantum. So don't tell me about how many registered members there are of the Seminole Nation. I know Seminoles were called from GMS. His father is Seminole, and they didn't want to give him, the son of a Seminole Indian, tribal membership. But he ended up getting it.
Yeah,
imagine how many people that happened to.
How many undocumented Israelites are in the States?
Boom. You know what I'm talking about? How many niggas missed the census? You see understand what I'm saying? And the whole purpose of getting somebody on the registry is to get paid. You know how hard the white man will make it to pay your ass if he could? Officer.
They call them out the Census Bureau.
The Census Bureau. This is the Census Bureau. Hey, what do the brothers say? I ain't even here. What does that mean? A lot of brothers missed the damn registry. Right? SICARRI.
How do we then rather combat the rhetoric that the Lord's only dealing with one camp or group or person? Like for example,
Get Revelation 1:11.
Homies camp, let's say if you're not in ICGAC, you're a rebel.
Yeah, you're all you guys are rebels. When we was in New York, them niggas is looking at us crazy.
So how do we then disprove that?
How do we disprove? That's a good point. How do we know that there's not just one camp? Because a lot of camps either directly say they're the only camp. You have some camp, like you said, like Cuffner and them, 1:11, that will directly say ain't nothing but us. Then you have other camps that will kind of infer it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, like we the men with the truth. I mean, there might be other camps, but really us. You got to come get with us. You see what I'm saying? So they infer it subtly. Then you have some brothers that's like, hey, we doing our thing. Hey, when they see other brothers, shalom to you, brothers. You see what I'm saying? So how do we know this? So let's get to scripture. Revelation 1:11.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 11.
Read.
Saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last.
You see how it's shot. Read on.
And what thou seest, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches.
Unto who?
The 7 churches.
7 churches. Now, you know what guys will say? Our camp is the 7 churches, right? 7 churches, right? Let's go to 2 and 14. Let's prove that your camp isn't the 7 churches. Because if your camp is the 7 churches, you got a problem, buddy. Damn. All right, go ahead.
Revelations 2 and 14. But I have a few things against thee.
This needs to get. Oh, I don't got to get plugged in right there. Somebody just plug that in like right now. Go ahead.
Revelation 2 and 14. But I have a few things against thee, because thou hast there them that hold the doctrine of Balaam or Balaam.
Wait a minute. In one of your camps, somebody has the doctrine of Balaam. But if your whole camp has one doctrine, how does one group have a different doctrine than the rest? You're admitting that your camp has a confused council and it teaches different doctrines, or you have to admit that there's more than one camp.
Right.
That's the only conclusion that can be came to. What does 7 represent? Who knows? Completion. So this means there's a complete amount of churches.
So what if they say that's dealing back then?
What?
Now the 7 churches are back right now and on point.
Well, let's prove it. Let's go back to Revelations 1, and let's go to the end, about 20, 21 towards the end, because this is deep. This is deep. What's said here? Let me see. Salakia. Right here. This 20. Watch this.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 20. 7 stars.
The what?
The mystery.
The what?
The mystery.
Meaning this is a prophecy. This is a mystery. This is for now to be written, and there's a mystery to what's going on.
Revelation 1 and 20. The mystery.
The what?
The mystery.
It's a mystery. You see what I'm saying? It is a mystery what's going on. This is not, because guess what? We don't know who these 7 churches are. We don't know. We could guess kind of, we can say it's referring to the Israelite groups that exist today, but we can't quite pinpoint everything.
So when it says the 7 angels, that's a complete amount of angels?
Well, it would have to be, because it's a complete, it's not just 7 Israelite camps. You see what I'm saying?
It's almost.
Well, no, and not at this point. It's not.
As far as like major ones.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But it's not. We can't just say that.
Come from a major church.
Well, no. We understand that, but we understand that 7 also means completion. We understand what the book of Revelation is about. When they say 5 months, is that 5 months? You see what I'm saying? Of course not. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be able to apply that there, because
he calls them out though.
He does call them out, and this is what you say, that there's splinter groups of these things, right? So it's not like I said, you can't necessarily pinpoint it potentially to, or maybe you could. Somebody would have to do that though. But if you look at it more ambiguously, it's more easily applicable. Splinter groups or break off groups or groups that are more like one or another group. You see what I'm saying? But it's at this point, it's more than 7. You got camps popping up all over the damn place.
Yeah,
you see
I
what
would
I'm
say
saying?
I would say only because he named every 7 of them.
Of course, he named all 7 of them, but then there's more than 7 camps that may fit each certain description. There's more than one camp that may fit that description. So like you said, there's splinter groups of each thing that, go into certain things. But then there's a couple there. I want to say there's only 2 churches on there that are spoken
if you could
like
prove,
it's all the way good.
If you could prove 7 doctrines, not just 7 camps, but 7 doctrines,
7 doctrines,
then you could possibly make that connection.
But you could if 7 overall full doctrines, right. And then this camp adopted it. This camp, right, you see what I'm saying? Exactly. There may be slight variations, right. But see, boom. So that's the interesting fact about it. But again, if it's just one camp, then which one? Yeah,
it's not one.
Which one of y'all got the doctrine of Balaam? Right. Which one of y'all got the doctrine in the spirit of Jezebel? You see what I'm saying? Which one of y'all? What else is said about this? Which one of y'all is doing the deeds of the Nicolaitans? Which one of y'all is doing it? You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. You have something?
And this is how we come up with doctrines. We swing swords.
We have to. It's got to make sense.
I got probably about 10 different camps.
Oh, and on that, you see what I'm saying? But like you said, you could kind of narrow it down based off of overall doctrine. You see what I'm saying? But then you have some people that's like, you know what I mean? So we got to look at the major points of doctrine and the major differences, and then also take a look at what the doctrine of Balaam is. What the letting Jezebel teach means. Who's seen that video that we did on that? You see what I'm saying? The full breakdown on what the spirit or what letting Jezebel teach means. You see what I'm saying? But I recall.
Like teaching strange things, like teaching you to go worship after other gods. You know what I'm saying? Things that altering, like Christianity. You know what I'm saying?
And the term is antinomianism. Teaching the doctrine of Jezebel is teaching you that grace is going to get you off from just basically taking law away for grace. Yeah. Essentially what a Christian doctrine is. That's what the spirit of Jezebel is. I don't give a damn what Muslims do. I know Israelite groups that do that. It ain't about Muslims. When you read about the 7 churches, you're not reading about Muslims. You're not reading about Christians. You're reading about Israelite groups. You're not reading about anything else in the book of Revelation.
What group would you say?
I know a couple groups that are antinomians. All right. And we've done videos directly on eating food sacrificed to idols in reference to them in this room. Go ahead.
Would you say somebody support Young Thug and stuff is like
no, that wouldn't be. That's just stupid. Saying that I can go eat Thanksgiving dinner and I can go eat Christmas dinner, that's the Jezebel spirit. That's the
elect can do no wrong. That's the Jezebel spirit.
Hey, and also, the elect can do no wrong, meaning will do no wrong. How about that? Instead of the elect is going to do wrong and it's just not going to matter. Right, officer.
Laos, conquer people. Is that what that means?
What, the Nicolaitans? That's the deeds of the Nicolaitans haven't quite, on my account, been identified. That's kind of a mystery because there's nowhere in the scriptures that the deeds of the Nicolaitans. There's a church in Nicolaitia where somebody was doing something. You see what I'm saying? But it's not really elaborated on scripturally. You see what I'm saying? So we got to kind of do some research and find out exactly what the deeds of the Nicolaitans are. That Yahushua said he hates. multiple times. He kept saying it. You do the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which I hate. I thought Christ don't hate.
Right.
Whatever. Any more questions on the phone? Go ahead.
Can I get a breakdown on 1 Corinthians 7:19? Because it says circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing, but the keeping of the commandments of the Most High. You don't have to get circumcised. It's like essentially done away with, and it's not important anymore.
That's a powerful question. Can you get that scripture, Tazama, and read it again so we can just break that down? Because that's a powerful.
1 Corinthians?
1
Corinthians chapter 7, verse 19. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing.
He said, listen, it's nothing but what?
But the keeping of the commandments of God.
But the keeping the commandments. So if I have to keep the commandments, he says circumcision is nothing but the commandments. You know, it's a figurative speech. I mean, you know, hey, $5,000 is nothing unless you're broke. $5,000 can help you a lot right now. How many brothers could use 5 racks in the room? Right? Now, to Jay-Z, that's baby money. To you, you need $5. It's nothing, but to you, you need $5. You are supposed to keep the laws. Right? So circumcision is nothing but doing what the hell you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Because there's some brothers that's gonna be keeping the commandments that still ain't gonna make it. So when he's doing the contrast between keeping the law and faith, that's what's saying, okay, like the Torah only cats. Some of them, they keep the commandments, they get circumcised, but they don't believe in Christ, they don't have the faith. So
yeah, circumcision don't mean nothing without faith.
Right.
That's the point the brother's making. It means keeping all the laws means nothing without faith. It's dead. That's the scriptures where somebody will go to try to prove you ain't got to get circumcised. It's Paul saying that. But notice they got, just like everybody, when you want to build an entire doctrine around Paul, that's when the problem is. Why? Because you're misquoting and misrepresenting Paul and wrestling with his with what he got going on, right? And we're gonna prove it because we got to go to the law. Let's get Salakia, give me Genesis 17:11 real quick. Oh, go ahead, Bazak.
Got a precept. Revelation 14:12. Here is the patience of the saints that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of a Mashiach Yahushua.
You see that? The commandments. One of the commandments is about actual physical circumcision. Physical circumcision. You cannot have a spiritual circumcision and not make it. You see what I'm saying? So that just, again, you cannot eat pork and not make it, just like with any commandment. But we have to keep the commandments. Part of the commandments is circumcision. Romans, give me Romans first. Romans 15:8. And then we're going to go, you get Genesis 17:11. You get Romans 15:8.
Book of Romans chapter 15 verse 8. It says, now I say that Mashiach Yahushua was a minister of the circumcision.
Of what?
Of the circumcision.
Yahushua was a minister of the circumcision. Read on.
For the truth of the Most High. Promises.
To do what?
Confirm the promises.
Confirm the promises. Read.
Made unto the fathers.
Made unto the fathers. Of the confirmation of the promises made to the fathers. Genesis 17:11. Go ahead. Genesis 17:11.
Book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 11. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin.
This is the Most High speaking to Abraham. Ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin.
Right.
Flesh. Read.
Shall be a token of the covenant.
So wait. Yahushua was a minister of the circumcision to confirm the covenant. This is the token of the covenant. Is circumcision. Read.
Me and you.
Right. Go ahead.
And he shall, Salak, and he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you. Every man child in your generations. He that is born in your house, in the house, or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
You see that? So the Most High said, not only are you to circumcise your seed, but if you even bring a servant in that's a heathen, they got to be circumcised. That's how important circumcision is to the Most High. Read 10. Salaki, that's what I really wanted. 17 and 10.
Come, verse 10. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me.
Which Yahushua said which Paul said Yahushua came to confirm of the circumcision He said, this is your covenant. Read.
Which ye shall keep between me and you.
Read.
And thy seed.
And thy what?
Thy seed.
Everybody who claiming to be Israelite will admit he's the seed of Abraham. Read on.
After thee.
After thee. Go ahead.
Every man shall.
Every man that comes out of Abraham, which Isaac came and Jacob came and thus came us. Read.
Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
That's a commandment from the Most High. Every man child from Abraham on got to be circumcised. So you gonna run to Paul to try to get out of circumcision, that's not what he's talking about, as we already qualified. But if you try to run to Paul to get out of circumcision, you're a Christian. But you call everybody else a damn Christian. But you're a damn Christian,
right?
Because you're trying to get out of circumcision with Paul, nigga. What's wrong with you? You had some, or anybody? It was a question on the matter. You had something behind recall?
I was just thinking of an analogy. I'm saying, speaking about that, like, no gay shit when I say this either, but like the uncircumcised side dick is just weird. You know what I'm saying? But a circumcised dick, a circumcised dick. Excuse my French when I'm saying this, bro.
Listen, yo, listen.
Hey.
No.
Hey.
No.
Hey.
you can't say stuff like that. All right.
Hey.
No, there's no other way to put it.
Let it go.
All right.
Let it go.
He may have been trying to make a point. We're just gonna let that point go. SICARRI.
Not to get too off topic, but
please get off topic.
We have a question regarding the mark of the beast, which we know is the chip.
The mark. Okay. Chip. Go ahead.
So I know the scriptures speak about the only thing you can't be forgiven of is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. So if you receive the chip, is there a way you can take it out and still be saved? And then also, how do we know that taking the chip is against God and that's a sin?
Okay, that's powerful. Revelations 14. Start at 8. We know that the only unforgivable sin is blasphemy of the Holy Ghost. I've also heard people say you can even be forgiven for that, honestly. But the only unforgivable sin is blasphemy of the Holy Ghost. Does that mean you're going to be judged still? Yes, it does. Plenty of people who are not going to blaspheme the Holy Ghost, namely 66.6% of Israelites, are still going to be judged and destroyed and not make it on the first round to the kingdom. So just because you can be forgiven, you are going to be forgiven. You're going to be in the kingdom anyway. Just because you can be forgiven, that doesn't mean you're not going to be put to death.
Right.
All right. Hypothetically, in the grand scheme of things, can be forgiven. All right. Let's see what the mandatory judgment is for all receivers of the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. And this is also going to prove that it can't be an ideology that's also being taught. Because you got back at the old school, 1 West 125th Street, we get our foundations up, all the 1 West camps. Okay, no camp has a monopoly on 1 West. I don't know if people know that because nobody's at 1 West today. So how can you have a monopoly on a place you're not at? Anybody who came from that, it's crazy because a brother, the brother I bought this shirt from, which is MASHARAH, some of y'all may know him, went to 1 West. Right? Then you have guys tell him that he can't put a shirt out to say 1 West on it. The same nigga that you wasn't at 1 West. You've been in the truth 6 months.
Thank you.
Nigga, I was at 1 West 91, 92, 90. What the hell was you? You see what I'm saying? You go tell a man who was at 1 West he can't make a shirt to say 1 West. You've been to 1 West. And if you've been like how we went. You've been outside of it. Yeah. You ain't been up in there. You wasn't in class with REI teacher. Yeshaya. You weren't in none of them classes. So what in the hell are you talking about? Revelations 14. 8 to 9, please.
Come on. Book of Revelations, chapter 14. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen.
Babylon is fallen. Go ahead.
Is fallen. That great city.
Read.
Because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man
do what?
Worship the beast.
That's worship. You have to presently the beast. So let me ask you a question. Who knows what the beast is? Huh? No, what is the beast? You said what? NATO and the EU. That is the beast. Right? Empowered white man is the beast. If any man, how would I worship the beast? Do what he tells me to do. Did the beast tell me to get involved in Christianity? So then how is the mark? How do I worship the beast? But then the mark is accepting his ideology. Distinct from worshiping the beast, that is the mark of the beast, but is the same thing as the mark of the beast. The shit, and I'm going to speak very explicit, the shit doesn't make sense.
Right.
Read.
If any man worship the beast,
and
his image,
and now starting with Caesar, moving forward into the doctrine and ideology of white supremacy and all of its offshoots. Go ahead.
His mark.
So here we have, you worship the beast, and then you receive his mark. If I'm worshiping and bowing down to it, that's what you are saying the mark is. So how is the worship of the beast, the image of the beast, and the mark of the beast all the same thing?
You missed the mark.
It's all the same thing, yet it's distinctively singled out as three individual things in the Bible. Or really, it said that the worship of the beast and the image kind of go together.
God.
Right? But these are singled out distinctively, yet you're telling me it's all the same thing. But the problem is, your dumb ass don't even read, so you don't even understand you're telling me it's all the same thing. You don't even know that it says worship the beast and bow to his image. Then it goes on to say and receive his mark. You don't even know that because you stay away from the scripture. Why do you stay away from the scripture? Because the rhetoric and doctrine that you've been taught doesn't make sense when you actually read the Bible.
Right.
Go ahead. Start from the top.
And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, worship the beast.
Worship the beast.
And his image.
And his image. You see that? The beast and his image. Worshiping. Bowing down to the white man. Bowing down to his philosophy. Bowing down to his religion. That's how we know that is what you do at church. So Christianity is worship. Worship the beast and his image. For you to say that the mark of the beast is Christianity, but the worshiping of a doctrine and an ideology and an image is spoken about prior to the mark and separately from the mark. How the hell is it the mark? Go ahead.
And receive his mark.
Different things. Worship and receive a mark. If any man worship, present tense, you are actively worshiping it. Receive it. Receive this mark. Received the package from you. I received it. Got it. How do I unreceive a package? I received the package. If I sent it back, I didn't unreceive it still. I still received the package. Turn the sender, still received. If you look up the tracking number on that package, it would say package received. If you received his mark, read on.
In his forehead or in his hand.
See, because you think about it and then you do it. But wait a minute. If I'm worshiping him, following what he wants me to do. So that's not what the mark is. The mark is the incision and the thing that he plans to insert into your head, in your hand, when you look it up in the Greek. That's what that is. That's something different. Because you worshiping, I don't know if you know this, but you worshiping a white man is not enough for him. He doesn't feel like he's God enough. You've been worshiping him for 500 years. It's gotten old, the fact that you believe Jesus Christ is white. It's gotten old that you are dumb enough to believe in evolution. It's gotten old that you going and trying to get a blonde hair, blue-eyed white girl, or your woman is going and getting permanent blonde eyes like damn tiny and blonde hair. That's old to the white man. He's been doing that. You've been loving him. So now what does he want? He wants to really be God. Right? By putting a chip in you. He's going to have control over you. Then he's really going to know where you are at all times. Right? People say, oh, the phone got the chip. You know what I can do to my phone? Leave it right here and walk away. They can't find me. You see that? But once it goes in my right hand or forehead or hand, because what does it say, right hand or hand right there?
Right here it just says hand.
It just says hand. Because well, what if it's my left hand? In Revelation 14, it say hand. Receive it, period. Right?
God.
What happens? Read.
the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High.
You have a guaranteed judgment to drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. That's ICBM missile fire.
Right.
You receive that mark, you get missiles. Right? Let's say that mark is Christianity. Was you a Christian growing up? What about you, brother? Yeah. We was all in some denomination of Christianity. Brother said Catholic, I was Catholic. That's, you know, that's where Christianity comes from. Catholicism. We all received the white man's doctrine. Guess mark of the beast is Christianity. We're dead. In our time here.
Let me put the nail in the coffin.
Go put the nail in the coffin for me, please.
Revelation 20:4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of the Most High.
Read.
Worship the beast.
They had not done what?
Not worship the beast.
Worship the beast, one thing.
Neither his image.
That's the worship. Go ahead.
Neither his mark upon their forehead.
Received. You see that? Again, if you received the package, even if you sent it back, you received it. It doesn't matter. You received it. If you believed in Christianity, if you got dipped in a damn hot tub by a damn pastor, if you were ever proud to be an American, according to some of these numbskulls out there, you received a mark. They don't realize that they condemn themselves to guaranteed hellfire when they teach that doctrine.
Yeah, that's true, because the Bible is literally saying the elect would have never received the mark, whatever it is. The elect would have never received it.
And it's even a new thing. Even when you take a look at the timeline of the prophecy in Revelation 13, when it comes out, it's a new thing in the earth. Do you know that somebody said that Solomon had the mark of the beast? Did y'all know that? You did? Have you heard of it? The beast didn't exist. The beast didn't exist yet. But Solomon had its mark.
Well, they say the beast is Esau.
Well, Esau, even if the beast wasn't in power.
He said King Solomon dealt with Edomites, but
he didn't actually deal with Edomites. In the Hebrew, it's not an Edomite. He dealt with the Assyrian women. Solomon didn't have the Edomite woman. People have it. It's the same thing with Deuteronomy 23:7. They ain't talking about Edomite. It's talking about Assyrian. You see what I'm saying? People are crazy. You see what I'm saying? And they don't. When you rely on rhetoric as opposed to like actually, okay, what does the Bible say? And then when your rhetoric interferes with common sense and fact and what the scriptures say, your pride and your ego gets in the way. So you then lean on the rhetoric. People lean on the rhetoric. People up in their arms. Because I made a comment that said, I don't have a problem if somebody calls me African. You think that African means Hamite. I have a quick question. What continent is Israel in? Africa or is it Asia? Because if we're having a continental conversation, you're either African or you're Asian. So that's where the term Afro-Asiatic comes from. That's what Israel is classified. That's what the Hebrew language is classified as, an Afro-Asiatic language, right? But all right, so we're not African, so we're Asians. You ain't gonna say that either, right? No, we're black. Hold on, we're black, but is Israel. Hold on, wait, but we're black. But the same people have no problem calling themselves black, which nobody's black. You understand what I'm saying? Jamaican, nobody. Wood and water. Haitian, a mountain. You see what I'm saying?
Wait, I done just said. Then they turn around and call Solomon Yahushua.
Yahushua had the mark of the beast, according to you. Paul had the mark of the beast. Paul was following the Sadducee and the Pharisee. Where's the beast at involved in that? That was wicked niggas. You see what I'm saying? Use your brain, man. And when you start to realize that what the hell you're talking about, that's why I said I didn't have a problem being called African, because I used to, and then I realized how stupid it sounds. What did Jabari say? He said, so you mean to tell me you become a nation in Egypt, you leave, but every time something goes wrong, you go to Egypt, then you spend over 1,000 years in West Africa, but you're not African? I said, that sounds stupid. And I came to that conclusion long before Jabari presented that to me. That's why I was hurry. Just hurry up, give me the mic. I don't have a problem with it. Because to them, the individuals who we're dealing with, African equals black. Give me the scripture, become all things to all men. They believe they're African. So shouldn't I become an African to them in order to win the African over? The brother who called himself African? I'm just.
Art thou that Egyptian?
Oh yeah, didn't they think Paul was African? I mean, what? Read the Bible, man. All of them read about and then study, because Africa is a new world concept. That's not a concept that pertains to the nationalities in the Bible, because the word Africa don't appear in the Bible. So Africa wasn't a concept that existed in the times that the Bible was being written.
Yeah, and they need to take that Native American term off of their 12 tribes.
Yeah, because we're not American, right?
That's what the brother was just saying to me and Assad on this post. So we're Americans now. Well, you damn sure call the Gadites Native Americans.
Well, technically you are. You're not. Your ancient biblical nationality is not American, but nigga, are you a U.S. citizen? Right. You're as American as Paul was a Roman.
Paul called himself a Roman.
He called himself a Roman with no issue and used it to his advantage.
And you love that, brother.
Hey, and guess what? we say we're Americans. When do we say we're Americans? When we're invoking our First Amendment right. That's right. I'm an American and I have a right to be on the street corner calling the white man the devil. Go ahead.
They'll always say Egypt is after, right? They won't ever dispute that. But when you look at the Promised Land, it's Nile to the Euphrates, which a part of Egypt is in that. So,
that's Africa. Wait a minute. That's Africa. And then how stupid people is they don't study a biblical map. Ham's land was in Africa, Europe, and Asia. It wasn't just in Africa. So to say that Africa equals Hamite is stupid, because by that same logic, Europe and Asia has to equal Hamite as well. No nation of people had monopoly on any of the continents, period. Because even the Hamites were coming over here before our brothers came over here. So nobody had a monopoly on continents.
The land of Israel used to be land
Canaan, right? That's all. But listen, from the Nile to the Euphrates is damn near all Hamitic land. You see what I'm saying? But it will stretch up into Assyria, which will come into Semitic land. But it's damn near, that whole Fertile Crescent is damn near all Hamitic land. Again, we're not Hamites, and we're anti-Hamite. Ask the Somalian Crips. All right? Salakia, you got what I need. Become all things. I'm going to become right to you, officer. Go ahead.
And 22. To the weak became I as weak, that I may gain the weak.
Read on.
I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some.
Save some. You know how many people have came up to us, because we have to understand the fact that our people have been just hypnotized with Africa, because we have such a lack of nationality and identity that we became hypnotized with Africa, to where we think Africa is just, the whole world is just about Africa. So our people come with this Africa, Africa, Africa. Instead of saying, man, to hell with Africa, become an African to them. Well, geologically, Israel is in Africa. So that's fine, that's cool. But let's focus, we have to hone in on where we actually come from, brother. Because even if you come from, Africa is an enormous continent.
Yeah, the Lord gave borders. It says you that in Deuteronomy 32.
The borders to every nation.
The Lord gave borders to every nation.
To every nation, right? So listen, brother. Claim a whole continent, because that whole continent ain't going to claim you. And we didn't come from that whole continent, right? We came from the far east part of that continent and migrated and ran out to the far west part of that continent. So we're just qualifying and quantifying it. Africa is not an ancient nationality. Again, Africa is a new world concept. So if somebody wants to have a concept with new world, or conversation with new world terminology, then you're an African. I mean, that's plain and simple. In specific, you're an Israelite. That's your actual nation. But when somebody's referring to landmass, you understand what I'm saying? Then somebody said, oh, would you, if you was from China, would you be Chinese? It ain't about that. China is not a continent. Asia is a continent. Are there Israelites in Asia? Wouldn't they be called Asians? The Negritos are Asians, right? They're Asians.
Right.
I mean, it's what they are. They live there. You understand what I'm saying? So when you have a conversation about Asia or Europe, you have when you call a white person a European, a so-called European, you associate Europe with white people. Is Europe originally white? Are they originally from Europe? No, Japhetic people of color originally come from Europe, right? But you call white people European, they're not European. They don't even come from there, right? You geologically even came from Africa, but then you migrated over. It just sounds stupid. So then brothers will come up to us like at the Alpha Longo rally. We made, you don't understand the based upon how we handled the situation, we were able to win the hearts of the Black conscious community in San Diego. Because they said, well, you got Israelites out there that's saying to hell with Africa and blah, blah, blah. And I said, brother, Israel is in Africa. I go to the backpack, I start pulling out books, documents, sources, and it turned brothers who were at odds with us to being at full and total peace with us. You understand what I'm saying? And also brothers coming in now embracing their Israelite identity, predicated upon just simply doing that, and stop spewing rhetoric and just deal with the actual facts of the situation. Right? Point? Or you had a point first, officer?
It's just like it's saying Judith 5 and 6, these people are descendant of the Chaldeans. So why don't we just call ourselves Chaldeans?
You see what I'm saying? That's what it said, right? Because Abraham came from where? Or the Chaldees. You see what I'm saying? Our father was called in Deuteronomy 25 Syrian. But now when we deal with being Chaldee, or we deal with being Syrian, those are biblical nationalities, right? Biblical nationalities. So would it be improper to call yourself a Syrian or a Cushite? Of course it would, because you're not that. Right? Or a Hamite? Of course, because you're not that. To say that you're a continent that exists now, or a name that's applied to a landmass now is not wrong. It's actually having a scholastic conversation. Again, which is why Hebrew is classified as an Afro, meaning Africa, Asiatic, meaning Asia, pertaining to Asia language. All right? Why? Because who are the closest related people to the Paleo Hebrew? The Cushites and the Ishmaelites. Cush and Ishmael. The Amharic language that the Cushites speak, Ishmaelites speak, are the two closest languages to the Lashon Kodash on the earth. And this all goes back to what's called the Afro-Asiatic language system. You understand what I'm saying? So nobody's going to argue whether or not Cushites are African, right? Cushites are African, but they have Babylon, which is in Asia, right? But they're African, right? All right. You had some, you had some, Zanak?
Is there time for one last question?
Kana.
Okay. Going into the
damn, it's almost midnight. I ain't realize. Go ahead. It's like
going into the parable of the wheat and the tares. Would it be fair to say that the wheat is talking about righteous brothers within a certain camp or certain camps, and that the tares are wicked Israelites, or is it strictly the tares are Esau? You know, like the confusion of faces, but like Herod. You know?
Okay, yeah, boom. Let's go there. Matthew 13. People got to understand that applying, because here's what the Christian theologians will do. Every parable that Yahushua gives, they damn near apply to the scribe and Pharisee, the wicked scribe and Pharisee. Why? Because that's what Christians do. When you then take the Israelite perspective of that and say, this is this camp and that camp, or guys in my camp versus everybody else's camp, all you're doing is being a Christian theologian and don't have understanding of the Bible, and not understanding that Yahushua hated Edomites and was resentful of the fact that Herod sat on his throne. So he spoke direct parables to Herod, right? And people like Herod, who could blend in with you, but were an Edomite. Because he was only technically 25% white, Herod. He was, the rest of them was Arab, and a Levite, right? But his father's father was a straight Edomite. So he was an Edomite. So that's what Yahushua spoke about in the parable of the wheat and the tares, as well as the parable of Lazarus and the rich man. When you start getting into these other interpretations of that, what you're now doing is playing into Christian theologians. This is the thing, right? When you deal with prophecy that has already came to pass, mind you, prophecy that has already came to pass, meaning now we can look in the past and see that this happened. A lot of those prophecies, theologians know history. When you go to the book of Zechariah and you read about the prophecy that the prophet Zechariah was given by Yahweh about Alexander rising up in 300 BC and conquering the Levant, that couple hundred years before it happened, the theologians have all that down pat and say and talk about how the Bible matches with history perfectly, right? That's there. But when it comes to like a breakdown on something future tense or something that especially condemns white people, don't expect a white theologian to have that. Why? Because the spirit of understanding wasn't given to him, right? And he has his own personal agenda to save himself, and he's a Christian. You understand what I'm saying? When he could look at a prophecy and say, okay, it said that this and that was going to happen to the Canaanites, and Alexander did that to the Canaanites, then I know that that's what this prophecy is talking about. That's not hard for somebody who has a thorough knowledge of history, right? But when it comes to something that's ambiguous or doesn't necessarily apply directly to history, and you would, number one, have to understand who the Israelites were and who the wicked one was to understand wheat and the tares, of course you're not going to understand the parable of wheat and the tares. So read.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which soweth good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat.
Here's a question, right? Okay. So it says, read it again from the top.
Kind. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field.
He sowed good seed in his field. Hold that. Give me Sirach. Let me give me Sirach quickly. What is that? I believe 35. Sirach 35. Let me take a look here, about 20 something. Not 35, 36. It's right around here. You know who got the scripture on? I don't know. It's right around here. I gotta find it briefly. Somebody look up the word race in the Bible. It's like right around here. I don't know why I can't. I'll probably look right over it, so I'm gonna be hot.
Man, this is so cold.
What?
I'm waiting till you go into
Come. I mean, I don't know what guys be thinking about. It's all in the spirit, man. Sometimes dudes want to, but and here's the thing, right? So like, here's the thing too. Like, you have guys that'll go around and say that, you know, they've been teaching, you know, the same thing for all these years, but the breakdown from the school is this. And that's the breakdown that was taught at 1 West 125th Street. What?
Race?
Yeah, Sirach. Race. Let me get it. I don't need that. It's around there, though.
26 and 1. Sirach 26 and 1.
Give me, just go to Sirach 20. It's 26. No, 26 and 21. So watch this. Okay, read 20 and 21. Go ahead. Salak here. Read. Let's bring 13 back up.
Start from the top.
Yeah, let's start from the top.
So, Matthew 13:24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man.
Read.
Which soweth good seed in his field.
Which soweth what?
Good seed.
A man. Good seed, field. Read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 20. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession.
When you get a fruitful possession, that's a field. Read.
Through all the field.
Through the what?
Through all the field.
Read on.
Sow it with thy own seed.
With thy what?
Own seed.
Are oranges your own? Are apples your own? Are pears your own? What's your seed? Your your kids. That's your seed. So it's what is a field? Well, it says fields. What are fields? Women. When you get a fine woman, when you get your woman or your women, because it say fields plural, fill them with seed. This is what Yahushua is talking about. That's what husbandry is. Tilling the ground. Read.
Trusting in the goodness of thy stock.
It's telling you it ain't talking about an apple ain't your stock. You trust in the fact that you are a Hebrew Israelite and you raising up powerful kids.
God.
That's what you trust in. So that's what you sow in the field. This is what Yahushua is talking about. What the hell are anybody else talking about? You people are crazy. Go ahead.
So thy race, which thou leavest, shall be magnified.
Notice it said what stock?
Trusting in the goodness of thy stock.
Meaning your stock is good. Finish it out.
So thy race.
So thy what?
So thy race.
Your people, read on.
Which thou leavest shall be magnified.
Shall be magnified. Go ahead.
Having the confidence of their good descent.
You see that? Hold that. Keep that right there.
Gone.
Go back here. Read it from the top. This is crazy. All praise Yahweh outside. This is crazy. Go ahead.
Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which soweth good seed.
Which do what?
Soweth good seed.
So good seed. The goodness of thy seed are your kids. A man soweth good seed. What is good seed? Israelites. In a field. That's sisters. Meaning we've been having sex with our women and having babies. Read.
In his field, but while men slept.
But while men slept. What is us sleeping? What is the state where we went to sleep? We wandered out of the way of understanding, got put in slavery. That's when men went to sleep. What happened during the sleep?
It says his enemy came.
Who is our enemies? The white man. His enemy came and did what? No, let the Bible speak. Go ahead.
And sowed tares.
How do you sow tares? You plant them. How do you plant tares? You rape black and Hispanic women. Go ahead.
Among the wheat.
And Native Indian women. Go ahead.
And
which there was plenty of that going on. Go ahead.
And went his way.
And then he went his way. Meaning he left Edomites. What's that new slogan that's out? The white man is the original deadbeat dad. Right? This is it. He left them. You know the white man had babies with black and Hispanic women and put their babies in slavery? You know that happened, right? Put their baby right in slavery. Damn. Y'all seen Roots?
Underground, the new show.
Yeah. Chicken George was a devil. They got the damn devil tears on Underground. So he left them there. He left them amongst our populations. Read.
It says, and went his way.
And got the hell on and went back to being a white man and his white-born wife. Go ahead.
But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also.
You see that? As we went on and progressed and had babies and started the black population and the Hispanic population, there was this group that was not of us, that was amongst us, that looked just like us. Right? Let's say you got a white man that gets with a black woman. They have a baby. That baby's a quote-unquote mulatto child. Then that child gets with another black woman and has a baby. Then them babies going to be looking damn near black by now, if not by the next generation they're going to. And now you just think, oh, that's a brother, right? Go ahead.
But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also.
So there they are too. Here are Master's kids amongst us. Go ahead.
So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field?
You see that? Didn't thou sow good seed? And this is what some people will say. Oh, this individual is light skinned. Or somebody will come in especially against the Northern Kingdom brothers. Well, see, they've been mixing with the Spaniard, and some of them is light, and some of them have recessive traits. So how do we know if there's Israel? The servants come and say, didn't you sow good seed? Shouldn't we be able to? Why is there others amongst us? Read.
From whence then have there tares?
Why are there these tares among? Some of these are masters' babies. Some of these are Spaniard babies, etc. Go ahead.
He said unto them. It says, he said unto them.
Yahushua is the master. Go ahead.
An enemy hath done this.
The white man did it. Go ahead.
The servant said unto him. Thou then that we go and gather them up.
Let's go get the tares. Right? What does Yahushua say? Read.
But he said, nay.
Nay. Why does he say nay?
Lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them.
The wheat. Why does he say that? You know why? Because man is going to go. He's light skinned. His hair is like this. Well, he kind of looks white. Them guys mixed with the Spaniard. Look, his eyes. And what do? They kill the wheat, the Israelite. People have told me Rihanna is the Edomite. You know that? First off, you hear this woman sing, and just how damn fine she is. You want to tell me that's the devil that the Bible speaks about? But you know why they say it? Because she's on the lighter side and she has colored eyes. But that's because her father's mother is a white woman. You see that? So from that, and this shows all this anti-mixed or anti-Latino was BS, because Yahushua said, don't do that. Because some of these people look light-skinned can prove that they go back to the Israelites, to the indigenous and the black man that got off the slave plantation, more than some people who look super Negro, Latino, can prove their descendancy. It's going to be dark-skinned white people running around. You understand what I'm saying?
Hey, that's the spirit.
Go ahead.
Bring
it out.
You said something very powerful.
Bring it out.
You said there's going to be dark-skinned white people running around, right? Look at the Greek lexicon for the word tear. It says a kind of darnel, which is another word for kernel. Bastard wheat. Look, resembling wheat, except that the grains are black.
Wow.
He just said a black Edomite. Exactly what a tear is. A black piece of wheat.
Watch this. Well, I'm gonna show
bastard wheat.
Watch this.
Yeah, bastard wheat. That's crazy.
Wheat. Watch this. Wheat and tears. Because a lot of us, we ain't deal with farmers, so we don't know what the hell a tear is. Right? I never seen a tear before. Watch this. Watch this. Put this on the camera. Wheat and tears. You see that? You can't tell the difference. Right? Not till when they fully mature. So read.
Well, real quick, there's a couple of scriptures.
Go ahead, King Salaki.
The shaft, when you look at the chaff, kind of
yeah.
Colonel, so this is about Yahushua, Matthew 3:11. It says, I indeed baptize you with water unto repentance, but he that cometh after me is mightier than I, whose shoes I am not worthy to bear. He shall baptize you with the Holy Ghost and with fire, whose fan is in his hand, and he will thoroughly purge his floor and gather his wheat, because the gathering of the people shall come by Shiloh, which is Christ. So he's going to gather his wheat into the garner with unquenchable fire. The chaff being the same thing as a tear, which is also prophesied in Jeremiah. Salaki, one last one. 28. The prophet that had the dream, he that has my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff to do with the wheat? Saith Yahweh.
That's right. Meaning that those Edomites have nothing to do with us at all. That's what it's talking about. Because guess what? Herod wasn't alone in the Edomite that was on the scene trying to portray himself to be an Israelite, portray himself to be a Jew at that time. He wasn't alone in that. Up in there, and we see Paul dealing with it in Romans, in Galatians. The Ishmaelites were trying to come up in there, right? To hell with all of that. That's what Yahushua is talking about. He ain't talking about this camp and that camp. Go ahead.
Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, first, gather you together the first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them.
Yeah, burn them. Yeah, burn them. That's what the word faggot is, right? And burn them. Why? Is there Edomites? What's the judgment on Esau? They getting burnt up.
Right.
If that means camps, this camp and that camp, why is there a terror? How is there a terror? If you in your own camp and we're some other camp that ain't right, then how are we growing up amongst you? Y'all got y'all thing and we got our thing. So that doesn't even make sense. Right? Go ahead.
But gather the wheat into my barn.
Into that barn. What is that? For salvation. That's what that's talking about. In the spirit and power of Yahweh. That's why I say, matter of fact, give me Amos 9 real quick too. Amos 9. How see sifting.
Verse 10, I think.
Okay.
Hey, that's what we gotta call the cares. You just bastard weak.
God. Chapter 9, verse 9. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel.
He gonna sift us, read on.
Among all nations.
Among all nations. So we done got place among all nations. Read on.
Like as corn is sifted in a...
Man, we not African. We not Israelites in Africa. Does the Bible explicitly say that there's going to be Israelites gathered out of Egypt and Cush?
Isaiah.
So would them brothers be calling themselves African? I mean, what else are they going to call themselves? Right? I mean, they in Africa. Go ahead.
Sifted in a sheaf.
And here's also something. Black people are the only people that use the term African to describe themselves. Africans.
So somebody talking to black people.
Yeah. Africans call themselves West African, East African, South African. You see what I'm saying? North Africans don't call themselves African unless they're French Montana and they're trying to get close to black people so they can get them to buy their album. They call themselves Arabs. The first time I heard an Arab man correct us about who he was Algerian. Algeria is in Africa. And he said Ismail. He said it in Arabic. When we say Ishmael, he said Ismael. You see what I'm saying? So they don't even call themselves African. Only West Africans, you got East Africans, you got South Africans. And these people don't get along. Then on top of that, you seen French Montana. Who's seen French Montana new music video? Who's seen French Montana new music video? With what's his name? You said what? No, it's the one with Sway Lee, I think. Sway Lee, the little kid from Ray Shrimmer, right? They're in the middle of Uganda. You would have thought they were in Jamaica. Ugandans are not Israelites, but there's Israelites in Uganda. And then I went and researched Israelites in Uganda. And I came up with there's a Ugandan ruler that read the Deuteronomy and said, where were these people? He came to the conclusion. Then later, the Jewish man came and tried to convert them into Orthodox Judaism. But before any conversion, he read the Bible and came to the conclusion that this was a description of his people. And then you have these people living in a shanty town just like they do in Jamaica, dancing just like they do in Jamaica. But I'm looking at this flag and I'm saying, I've never seen this flag before. It was red, yellow, and green with a rooster on. I know all the flags of West Indies. I know, you know what I mean? I'm familiar with all of this. We see it, all right? I never seen this flag before. So I said, what the hell is that? It's Uganda. These weren't, you got Ugandans that come by, that there's a farmer's market at our campsite prior to us getting there. There's Ugandans that sell things there. Those people are not Israelites. Those people are nothing like the people that are seen in that video. So where's this disconnect between Ugandans? You have Israelites there, a minority, and then you have a vast majority of Hamites that oppress the Israelites, which makes sense to why the Israelites were living in the shanty town and dancing like Jamaicans. Because they're the oppressed people there. Because we're in all nations. Thus saith the Lord.
That's
Go
right.
ahead. Don't fight me. Fight God. Because he said your black ass will be in Africa. All right? Then you mad at me for just, unlike doing what a logical person would do and admit it. And a truthful person. Go ahead.
Con. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
Shall not the least grain. So we're going to be sifted, but the least grain shall not fall upon the earth. Meaning all of Israel is ultimately going to get collected. That's why it says what's going to happen to the wheat is going to get gathered and put in the barn. The tares are going to get burned, right? Because ultimately, all of Israel shall be saved, thus saith the Lord. Go ahead. That's it on that. Okay, that was it on the parable? All right, with that, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and say shalom.